framed.
Dortmund in the Champions League, and a first Premier League start for the talented 17-year-old midfielder Lewis Miley. Also coming into the side are Miguel Almiron and Anthony Gordon, both of whom were introduced at half-time in Germany on Tuesday. Newcastle then, Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Jamal Lascelles, who turns 30 years old today, Fabian Schär and Lewis Hall keeping his place in the team at left back. Sean Longstaff, Lewis Miley, who came on for the final 10 minutes in the Champions League, and Joelinton or Joe Willock on the left of midfield. The other will be on the left of the front three, but they always switch during the game. Almiron on the right, Gordon out of position, filling in at centre forward. The bench is interesting. Two goalkeepers, Martin Dubravka and Mark Gillespie. Paul Dummett is a substitute, as are Matt Ritchie and Emil Kraft, who are not in Newcastle's Champions League group, so that's why they couldn't be named in the squad for Borussia Dortmund. Tino Livramento, the star man the other day, is only a substitute, and then there's three academy players who are yet to make a competitive appearance at first team level. Winger Amadou Diallo, Irish defender Alex Murphy, who impressed in pre-season, and young forward Ben Parkinson. That's how Newcastle line up against Bournemouth. John Anderson, the big news is, in terms of the 11 that starts, Lewis Miley getting his opportunity after coming on and looking very composed in the Champions League, but the obvious absence there is that of Callum Wilson, who we probably didn't expect to play, having come off at half-time in midweek with a tight hamstring. But it is a big blow for Newcastle, who are already without Alexander Isak.
Yeah, it's a blow, you know, to not have a recognised centre forward. Gordon can go and do the job there, but he's not an out-and-out centre forward. He doesn't look comfortable in that position. He always wants to drift into those wide areas, but look, it is what it is, you know. He's obviously tweaked a hamstring, you know. It's not, you would think that if it had been a tightness, since Tuesday you'd have thought he maybe would have been all right, but there's obviously a little strain there, so you would think that would be him out of an England squad as well. But it is a blow. Injuries are the part and parcel of the game, of course they are, but we've had our fair share, probably more than our fair share. But that comes with the amount of games that we're playing this season, the intensity of the games that we're playing this season. Injuries are going to catch up with you a little bit, but to have the amount of injuries that we've had, we have at this moment in time, that's a right kick in the teeth for us. And then of course you throw the suspensions in there as well. They don't help, but look, it's a side that you know what they'll give you. They'll go and give it their all. This international break probably comes at a real good time for us. I think Eddie Howe will be absolutely delighted that this international break is here. It gives them a chance to get one or two of the walking wounded back, hopefully. But you've just got to get on with it. You know, he's named aside. It's big night for young Miley, obviously making his first start in the Premier League. Came on against Dortmund in huge game. Didn't look overawed. Didn't look out of place. And good luck to the young man. You know, he's a boy who looks like he's got a big future in the game.
That's the Newcastle team then. Pope, Trippier, Lascelles, Schär and Hall. Longstaff, Miley, Joelinton, Almiron, Willock and Gordon. Ando referenced the suspensions. They are without Bruno Guimaraes today, a one-match Premier League ban because of his 5 bookings in the league this season. Newcastle, since Bruno made his debut last February, haven't had him on 6 previous occasions in the Premier League, and they have failed to win any of those 6 matches when Bruno hasn't figured, including the 1-1 draw here last season. Another statistic that just underlines what we know, what we see when we watch the team, how important he is to Newcastle United. And Sean Longstaff, by the way, is 1 booking from the same punishment as Bruno, a one-match ban in the Premier League, so he's got to be careful tonight. Despite all these injuries, Ando, and players unavailable, and the workload and the schedule, they're still doing rather well. 6th in the table before the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League, and if they win and Aston Villa don't win their match tomorrow against playing Fulham, I think, aren't they, Aston Villa, then Newcastle will be 5th, which would really, I think, show just what a good job the players and the management are still doing when it comes to balancing everything that they've got this season, the extra games, all of the problems they've had. They're still getting Premier League points and results. There's a lot of ifs in there, Razor. Yeah, but that's what's ahead of them. But yeah, should they win today?
Yeah, but first and foremost, they've got to win. You know, you can't keep looking at other people and if this happens, if that happens. All you do is you concentrate on yourself. You win the games that's put in front of you, or you try to win the games that's put in front of you. And then you hope that other results can do you a favour and help you out. But first and foremost, you look after yourself, and that's all you've got any real control over. You know, so first and foremost, we've got to win here tonight and see what the other results bring. You know, so let's go and see if we can get 3 points here tonight. And look, it won't be easy. You know, we're down to the bare bones. You look at the bench, you see what's on the bench. There's 1 or 2 on there, which is a big night for them. You know, to sample this. Young Murphy on the bench did well in pre-season. You know, he's been involved before. Parkinson was on the bench. Good to have Kraft back, no doubt about it. It's been tough on the boy, you know. And I thought when he played at Old Trafford, I thought he played really, really well. I thought, you know, Matt Ritchie, you know what you're going to get out of. But a couple of weeks back, we were looking at that bench and going, whoa, we've got 1 or 2 on there that can come on and have an impact on the bench. Now all of a sudden you look at it and there's 3 or 4 youngsters on there. There's 2 goalkeepers on there. You know, that's where we are. You know, we are down to the bones. But hopefully we'll be able to get a job done tonight and then get a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a rest with this international break that's coming up next weekend.
A lot of supporters will be wondering why Tino Livramento has been left out after playing so well against Borussia Dortmund. Not just Borussia Dortmund, Manchester United, and as a half-time substitute against Arsenal. We're not sure of the reason. He's on the bench for Newcastle. He had a really bad injury at Southampton, was out for a year. He's played 8 times for Newcastle, yet to start in the Premier League. Maybe Eddie Howe doesn't want him to start, I don't know, too many games at the moment because he is feeling his way in. I don't know if that's the reason why, because on his performance from the other day, you would expect him to be playing again.
On his performances alone, the 3 games that he started, he's been absolutely sensational. You know, the other night he played in 3 different positions and was outstanding in all 3 of them. It's a strange one, you know, it really is. Whether he doesn't want to move Trippier to left back, put Livramento at left back. I mean, he showed the other night that he can play there and doesn't look uncomfortable playing there. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I was surprised as well. I thought he would have been in the starting 11. I understand that he's had the injury, but you know, he's been training, he's been getting game time. I don't think there's any reason why he shouldn't be playing. I mean, but that's entirely down to the manager and to the coach and staff why he's not in the team. But yeah, I think there'll be 1 or 2 looking at it and thinking and wondering the same thing, why he's not in the starting 11.
This is BBC Radio Newcastle. Good to have you back as well, Ando, after missing a couple of matches.
Thank you.
A lot of people asking where you've been, but all good, and you're back for this one against Bournemouth on the south coast, one of their longest trips, the longest trip they'll make domestically, depending on where they get sent in the FA Cup, I suppose. And after all 4 of their Champions League fixtures this season, Newcastle have been given an away match in the Premier League. The Premier League schedule was drawn up before the Champions League draw took place, but on the road each time. Sheffield United, which is their only away win in the league this season, and then the draws that they've had at West Ham and Wolves followed a few days on from a Champions League fixture, as does this one. Bournemouth, their opponents, their hosts tonight, not having a great time of it. They are in the Premier League relegation zone on goal difference, same number of points, 6 as Luton, who were beaten at Manchester United earlier. 1 win for Bournemouth from 11 matches under their manager Andoni Iraola, who came to St James's Park last season with Rayo Vallecano for a friendly. That was in December, just before the domestic season resumed. Bournemouth appointed him as Gary O'Neill's replacement in the summer. There will be pressure, I'm sure, with their start to the campaign, but looks like they're going down a different route and perhaps pursuing a different model and way of doing things. Bournemouth, who are in their 2nd season back in the Premier League, 15 last year, and they've made 5 changes today. The goalkeeper Neto comes back in for Andre Radu, a Romanian international on loan from Inter Milan. And then the back 4, they played with a 5 in their previous match, which has changed to a 4 today. So it's Max Aarons, formerly of Norwich, at right back, and then the 2 centre-halves are Ilya Zabani, a Ukrainian international. They paid £24 million for him to Dynamo Kiev in January, and Marcos Senesi, an Argentinian international that scored the goal that put Bournemouth ahead against Newcastle at home last season. Lloyd Kelly will be at left back today. Then the 2 in midfield are Ryan Christie, who was given a new contract yesterday until 2027, and Lewis Cook, who's just returned from a 3-match suspension. Marcus Tavernier, Justin Kluivert, son of the former Newcastle player Patrick Kluivert, a summer signing from Roma for about £9 million, and Antoine Semenyo, who had a loan spell with Sunderland a few years ago in League One, didn't score, but has got 2 goals in the Premier League for Bournemouth this season, behind their top scorer Dominic Solanke, who has 5 goals. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation that we're expecting from Bournemouth. So Neto, Senesi, Cook, Kluivert and Semenyo come in for Radu. Milos Kerkez, left back, and Chris Mepham, a centre-half, they're on the bench. And midfielders Philip Billing and Alex Scott are both unavailable for the home team because of injury. A word on Bournemouth, Ando, because they are probably facing a season that is going to be about surviving relegation and staying in the Premier League.
Look, it hasn't gone great for them so far this season. They want to play a high press, they want to press in, but you know, defensively they concede a lot of goals, they give a lot of goals away. So their main concern this season will be staying in the Premier League. You know, I think that will be seen as success for them to stay in the Premier League, but they need to start winning games. Hopefully that doesn't start tonight, but you know, he's made changes to his starting 11. But it's a tough league, you know, it's an unforgiving league. You've got to earn your own little bit of luck. You've got to earn the right to win football matches, and so far this season it's been tough going for Bournemouth.
You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle, and we're building up to our commentary on Newcastle's match away to Bournemouth. We'll be getting underway in less than 10 minutes time. Their only defeats in their last 13 fixtures in all competitions have been against Borussia Dortmund, home and away. And if they win tonight, they'll climb the Premier League table again and could come back from the international break over the next fortnight in 5th spot.
Yeah, well, I think the players have done incredibly well to adjust to a difficult start. which we knew it was going to be a potentially a difficult start for us with the fixtures. We were close in those games, but we didn't get the results we wanted. So I think it was a real test of character, responding to the first break and again in the second, because this has been another really intense period. The players have been stretched mentally, physically, but I have to compliment them, and our general performances I think have been very strong. Of course, we lost the 2 games to Dortmund, but I don't think they were hugely one-sided games. I thought we were in both, could have been very different. So I have to a big compliment to what they've given, and now we need to finish off this run of games against Bournemouth.
Change of manager in the summer, and they obviously don't have as many points as they would like at this stage. What do you make of the way things have changed there this season and how they've been performing?
Well, I think Andoni is a very good manager. Watched Bournemouth a lot in the build-up to this game. I think their setup's very good. They've got good players. They invested a lot of money in the summer in their squad. So I think we know we're going to be in for a tough game, and I've got a lot of experience at that stadium, and the Vitality is a very difficult place to go. So I think for us, we need to make sure we've recovered from Dortmund physically, mentally, and go again and make sure we're ready for a tough game.
And you made your first return to Bournemouth as a manager with Newcastle last season, so do you feel that it changes things, maybe takes some of the pressure and focus off you this time because you've already been back?
Well, I hope so. I hope the focus is always on the players and on our performance and how well we can approach the game. That's always my wish. It's never about me. Our only focus is to try and win.
Total Sport Northeast.
The sound of
Newcastle United.
And there really is nowhere else like it. Back through for Miguel Almiron. Big chance. Goal! Oh, what a goal! On the volley. Brilliant goal. Alan San-Maxima right at the end of the 90. Plays in Wilson. Takes the touch. Callum Wilson has scored.
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Tunnel at Bournemouth, helping to whip up the crowd is the champion boxer Chris Billam-Smith, who's from Dorset. He's a Bournemouth fan, and they brought him onto the pitch to ask the home fans to make some noise, which he has done. And here are the two teams walking past lines of armed forces personnel ahead of a period of reflection which will follow in a few minutes' time. Newcastle are going to be wearing, as they did in Germany, their green away kit, white shorts and white socks, Pope in light blue, and Bournemouth in their red and black striped shirts, black shorts and black socks, with goalkeeper Neto all in yellow. Goalkeeper's kit is very close as a colour match to the shirts that the officials are wearing. Luminous yellow, black shorts and socks for referee Chris Kavanagh, who's from Lancashire, and his assistants Darren Cann and Nick Hopton. James Linnington is fourth official, and on VAR duty we have John Brooks, assisted by Gary Bezic. Now the handshake start. Bournemouth players and mascots walking down the line of Newcastle, and pre-match greetings for the teams break off and split into their respective halves of the pitch. The Newcastle fans on the far side. It's a small away section, the smallest in the Premier League, along with Luton, around 1,000 or so, and a very high away points requirement for fans to get in first to try to get tickets. They're on the far side of the pitch. We are going to be commentating as usual from Bournemouth, the middle of the main stand, just to the right of the two benches, and we're on the opposite side to the television camera gantry. Newcastle players have taken off their green tracksuit tops, and some of them pick up a water bottle, others go sprinting off into the pitch as the mascots pose for photographs in the centre circle. The team tonight is Pope, Trippier, Lascelles, Schär and Hall. Yellow carded in Germany and then replaced at half-time. Longstaff, Miley and Joelinton, Willock, Almiron, Gordon through the middle, we will wait, John Anderson, to see exactly who starts where in terms of that midfield with the four options.
You would imagine there's going to be a lot of interchange. You know, they don't stick to a rigid position, these players. They interchange, they move about, and I think we'll see a little bit of that again tonight.
And Bournemouth 5 changes: Neto in goal, Aarons, Zabani, Senesi and Kelly at the back, Cook and Christie in midfield, Tavernier, Kluivert, Semenyo and Solanke is their starting 11. And the players for both teams are in a huddle next to the centre circle. Referee on the halfway line, flanked by his 2 assistants, and Eddie Howe and Andoni Iraola, the 2 managers, are now going to carry wreaths onto the pitch as the clubs of Newcastle United and Bournemouth join the rest of the Premier League in showing respect and paying tribute to the armed forces on Remembrance Weekend.
By the last post, which will begin and end on the referee's whistle. We will remember them.
Bournemouth versus Newcastle United, live from the Vitality Stadium on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Eddie Howe back at a place that is so special to him. Same for Jason Tindall, his assistant, and quite a few members of the staff. Callum Wilson not involved for Newcastle today, but Matt Ritchie had 3.5 years at Bournemouth and achieved so much together. Wherever you go around the stadium, there are reminders of what they did, bringing Bournemouth through the leagues, keeping them in the Premier League. Pictures on the inside of the stadium, in the corners, in the media lounge. They are Bournemouth legends. But for Eddie Howe, Ando, he came back here with Newcastle last season, and as we heard about a few minutes ago in his pre-match interview, he hopes that there's not going to be too much focus on him today.
No, I think we got that out of the way last season. You know, it was special for him. First time he'd been back in a different dugout. But I think we've got all that out of the way.
We've started. 12 seconds on the clock. BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV. The green shirts of Newcastle United with poppy embroidered on them are kicking up towards the left as we look. And now down the Bournemouth left in front of the away section. There's an attack in the first minute and then rolled back towards Ryan Christie, who had a left-footed shot that Nick Pope needed 2 goes at catching.
Should have done better, actually. It was a good break. They worked it well. Gets rolled back edge of the penalty area to Christie. Side foots it straight at Pope. I mean, Pope just pats it up in the air and catches it the second attempt. But he's got to be putting his foot through that.
Anthony Gordon chasing the ball back to Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto. And it's cleared upfield. Dominic Solanke with short sleeves and gloves, winning a throw on this near side for the Cherries. Into midfield to Lewis Cook, back to Ryan Christie. Could have given his team the lead inside a minute there with that effort. He was all alone at the edge of the box. played down the right side. Bournemouth with Max Aarons blocked by Lewis Hall. Joe Linton then helping it into Lewis Miley. First touch for the 17-year-old. Bournemouth win it back though, and this is a run from Antoine Semenyo into the penalty area. Semenyo poked with a really good save low down, left-handed, just to beat the ball away, and it's put out for a throw.
Too easy though. He picks it up and he starts running, and everybody just backs off and says, go on then, cut yourself inside there. And nobody closes that gap down, and he hits it. Pope gets down well, because it's hit well. It's a daisy cutter, and there's a lot of them there. Big man to get down, and he got a strong hand to it to push it away.
Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0, but 2 early chances for the home team. Solanke keeping the ball in, Semenyo rising to head it, share away, Christie nods down, Semenyo back to goal, Miley makes a good challenge, and Willock on the spin into midfield. Tavernier comes the other side and wins it back. Bournemouth with a strong start, and now they play it to goalkeeper Neto, lifted out to Kelly on the far side. Down the line, but Kieran Trippier is going to get there first and play it back to the feet of Nick Pope. Longstaff behind Willock, who is in midfield at the moment. Joe Linton on the left wing, and Miley Ando seems to be in the middle with Longstaff to the right.
Yeah, that's the way it is at this moment in time.
Marcus Senesi's let the ball bounce and then played it back to the keeper to the left of the penalty area. Gordon closing in. It's rolled to Ilya Zabani, the Ukrainian forwards. Fabian Schär header on. Joe Willock takes it on his chest. Max Aarons behind him. Lewis Hall here down the left wing to Joe Linton. 30 yards out. He's got runners. He's played a good pass inside to Willock. Could get it back from Longstaff. It's instead played to Almiron. Shifts left and then shuffles to the right, finds Trippier 35 yards from the goal. Longstaff with a run in towards the corner, back to Almiron. It's a decent Newcastle break. Almiron combining now with Longstaff on the right. They go wide to Trippier, level with the edge of the box into Miley. And he's played it back to Schär in front of the centre circle, slowing it down Newcastle, but trying to create something. Joe Linton missed control. 5th minute of the match. Here go Bournemouth again with Semenyo. Miley, good tackle on halfway. Hall has it back, and Lascelles now to Willock, to Miley, to the left of the centre circle. Joe Linton back into Lewis Miley, wearing number 67. His 4th senior competitive appearance. Schär gives it away, but Bournemouth are unable, through Justin Clivert, to keep hold of it, and then Newcastle clear towards halfway, headed on to Solanke. Schär behind him. Solanke, who's a big boy, uses his upper body strength and then lays the ball off to the far side to Tavernier. Semenyo back to Zabani. Christie finds Senesi in the centre circle. 0-0, BBC Radio Newcastle. Good atmosphere in these early stages. Semenyo towards Aarons, skips around Lewis Hall and then drives forwards. Semenyo on his left, in off the right wing. Hall does well to recover, gets in between man and ball, and then Willock away. Joe Linton controls, pushes it through the legs of Christie, and then Hall with a clearance. Gordon to chase, headed into midfield by Bournemouth. Miley then heads on, and Anthony Gordon gets after this down the left wing. He's being held, Gordon, by Lewis Cook. He's got away from him, Gordon. Left side, wins a corner. Did very well, Anthony Gordon, with not a lot on in the middle.
No, probably the best he could do. Good turn of pace, just knocked it and went. There was nobody in that penalty area. The best he could have hoped for was a corner kick, and that's what he's got.
Kieran Trippier jogs across. First corner of the match. Newcastle, who are unbeaten in all 5 previous Premier League away fixtures on this ground, play the ball through Trippier to Gordon. Almiron back to Trippier. It's a cross that's blocked by Tavernier, not too dissimilar to the Dortmund second goal on Tuesday. And there's a counter-attack, though they have bodies back, and Trippier slides in, and that's a great challenge. Playing the ball out and playing it off Marcus Tavernier for a Newcastle throw next to halfway, and Eddie Howe, hands in pockets, black overcoat, gives the ball to Lewis Hall. 0-0.
Yeah, it's been a pacey start. Just trying to take the sting out of it a little bit, just trying to slow it down a little bit, take a little bit of sting out of Bournemouth.
Cher pings it across to Jamal Lascelles, who's on a run, and it's a good run. Looking for Gordon, got a shoulder barge from Marcos Senesi.
That's the positions he's not used to. He's not used to receiving the ball in that area, and he's just got out muscled.
Zabani, front of the D. Pops the pass out wide to Aarons, intercepted by Fabian Cher. Now he's on a run, finds Joelinton. Gordon makes a move, Joelinton's got it back. Now Sean Longstaff could hit it, does hit it! And Neto with a one-handed save from a very well struck shot from Sean Longstaff, and it's a corner.
Well, they break and Joelinton gets it, and then he gives it away, but Bournemouth give it straight back. Joelinton rolls it into the path of Longstaff, who hits it clean enough. Keeper wasn't taking a chance, just got a strong hand up, tipping it over the bar. Might have been dipping in.
It was high from Longstaff. Neto with a very good save. Nick Pope has already made a couple. Now the home keeper getting one of his gloves dirty. Trippier with a corner. After the last one, he might just put this one into the box, and he does, and a header away from Bournemouth as Fabian Cher threw himself at it in the near post area. 9th minute, no goals. Hall, who'd stayed back, out to Trippier on the left. Cher's down the line and is rolled in by Trippier, takes a touch, right-footed cross, Bournemouth header out to Almiron, tackled by Semenyo. And the danger now through the counter-attack down the left. Hall makes a challenge on Tavernier and puts it out.
Bad touch, wasn't it? Poor touch by Tavernier. It's just got away from him. He's allowed Hall just to toe poke it away.
One-two between Tavernier and Solanke, and the cross in towards Semenyo, but Cher with a clearance. Almiron attempts to keep it in. It's gone down the line, but Bournemouth have it back, and then Lloyd Kelly at left back tonight plays it to the goalkeeper. Kelly's a player who's been linked to Tottenham in recent weeks. He's out of contract in the summer. Also saw Newcastle's name mentioned in a couple of reports, suggesting that there's an interest in him. Tavernier down off the ball after a collision with Trippier. Nothing given. Some fireworks being let off behind, a long way back from the stadium, behind the away stand, the away section. And that's where all the noise is coming from as Willock goes down the right wing, but it's a ball that beats Miguel Almiron and goes for a throw in the middle of the Bournemouth half of the field. Their only league win came here against Burnley by 2-1 a fortnight ago. He did win a couple of League Cup ties earlier in the season. Now it's over the top for Solanke, who's in on Nick Pope. Dominic Solanke.
What a tackle that is.
Jamal Lascelles, the birthday boy, the skipper, slides in to save Newcastle and concede a corner when Solanke ought to have scored.
Wanted too long, didn't he? Wanted too long. Allowed Lascelles to get across and get that block in. But yet again, he's trying to side-foot it in. He's not putting his foot through it. But just wanted too long.
He had an angle as he ran in towards goal. Solanke made the run off Fabian Cher. No offside, at least no offside from the assistant referee. And Bournemouth have had another chance, but it remains goalless. Entertaining stuff. Here's the left-footed corner. Pope punches away just before Semenyo could get there. Hall competes for the ball in the air, but Kelly has it on the left wing. Turns back and away and plays it short to Lewis Cook. Right-footed ball in from the left. Joelinton with a block. Now they go. Willock It's gone out to the right to Trippier, into midfield to Joelinton. It's all a bit crowded. Gordon's pulled to the left. Willock plays it back to Hall, and Bournemouth
See,
get bodies
that's the problem
position.
you've then got. When you've got no out-and-out centre forward, he wants to drift wide, but you're picking it up in then you're looking for somebody to play off in a central forward role, and there's nobody because everybody's drifted into wide areas.
Well, Joelinton's gone there now as Pope gets it from a Newcastle player in midfield and then down the right side into the Bournemouth half, and they've given possession back to their hosts. 13th minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. Chances for Bournemouth, 3 of them. Newcastle Longstaff with one tipped over. Lascelles on the stretch, puts it out for a throw near the corner flag, far side of the pitch. Justin Kluivert chasing. Scored 1 goal for Bournemouth so far in the League Cup defeat by Liverpool last month.
More drums.
You had enough of them when Dortmund came to St James's, didn't you? Adds to the atmosphere, does it not? Maybe not. Pope catching a cross that was fizzed in from the left.
Some like it, some don't.
Yeah. I think we know what camp you're in. Fabian Schär is sitting down in the box and is holding, he's pulling his socks up, and it looked like he was holding his knee. Referee Chris Kavanagh's gone jogging over to him. Newcastle have had players down in matches and it's been alleged to be tactical, but Fabian Schär is now feeling his hamstring. I thought it was the knee, but the back of the knee. It seems like it's his knee first, right hamstring, and everyone else bar Lascelles and Trippier and Pope is off the pitch, so not quite everyone else, but you get the point. 7 outfield players, that's better. They've come to see Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall, and the manager is right in amongst it, giving them fresh instructions. Emil Kraft sent for a jog along the touchline, so too Tino Livramento and Paul Dummett. It doesn't matter who it is, they cannot afford to lose anybody else to injury, especially with so many of the injured not close to returning. Schär's on his feet, more fireworks. There's obviously a display taking place somewhere towards the coast. We're not quite in Bournemouth, in the town centre. It's a couple of stops on the railway line along. You get off at Folkestone, and then the train continues, takes you to Bournemouth. The stadium's about a 15-minute walk from the station. Quite a pleasant walk through a couple of housing estates, and you don't really see it, do you, the stadium, because it's so small until you until you're pretty much here. Tucked away around playing fields and Bournemouth training centre. Flicked on by Joelinton from Pope's ball upfield. Schär's off the pitch, they're down to 10 temporarily. Sean Longstaff is an emergency centre half, and Livramento's come back to the bench, but Longstaff winning a header at centre back. Onto Willock. Miley, oh, that's tidy, brings it down and then gives it to Almiron after a couple of touches. Longstaff with a run. Joelinton making that run in off the left like he did for the goal against Arsenal and for the chance that he couldn't quite take down in Germany. Bending his run in, staying onside, but the ball didn't go that time. Schär's now come back on. Longstaff plays it forwards. Bournemouth have it, and Solanke, left of centre, 5 yards outside the box, plays it to the wing. Flat cross, blocked by Trippier, and cleared into midfield. Cook on to Tavernier. This is Senesi in front of the halfway line. 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Zabani is the right-sided of the 2 Bournemouth central defenders. Clips it down the right wing. Kluivert had a touch. Schär's got it. Miley to Willock. Now Hall on to Joelinton. Into central midfield, but away by Bournemouth. Miley gets something on it, but it comes to Tavernier. stabs it forwards. Cher might have been fouled. Referee's given it. Caught late by Solanke. Quickly taken free kick. Longstaff then tripped by Kluivert. And in the middle third of the pitch, Newcastle take another free kick. Trippier gets it back from Longstaff, and now it's Almiron. On towards Gordon, back to Almiron. Willock making a run forwards from the left. It's played across halfway to Lewis Hall. Blonde-haired full-back into Almiron. Now Willock onto Hall. Breaks into the area. Lewis Hall, low shot. Saved low down, centre of the goal by Neto.
Good break. Well worked. Just didn't get anything on the shot. Comfortable save for the keeper. But it was better.
This is Lewis Hall's 5th appearance for Newcastle. And he's got the nod at left back with Livramento on the bench, Trippier at right back. Bournemouth have Antoine Semenyo down holding his heel on his right foot. He's got up and then fallen down again. Now on his back with his legs in the air. And the ball's been put out of play, and Eddie Howe is calling over Joelinton and talking to Anthony Gordon. And the Bournemouth medical man comes on to check on Semenyo. It's 0-0. John Anderson, what do you think of this match so far? Plenty of chances.
Yeah, there's been chances at either end. Bournemouth started quickly, got out of the blocks quick. We've tried to take the sting out of it a little bit. Pope's had a couple of saves to make. At the other end, Longstaff's hit one that keeper's done well to tip over the top. It's been pretty open, actually. It's been decent.
What do you think, with the players that are out there, could be the solution? Because he talks about Gordon receiving it at centre forward, not used to getting the ball in that position. He likes to come in off the left and run past and run out players. Joelinton, we know, he's not suited to being a centre forward despite his size. How do they have a presence up top and make it work?
It looks like that's what they've done. That they've changed it. Gordon's come to this left side. Joelinton's gone to play through the middle. Gives you a little bit more of a physical presence in there. Almiron on that right side. So they've changed it about.
Lloyd Kelly, long ball clipped into the corner, far side. Lascelles with a header. Trippier did well. And Solanke coming in managed to play it against the Bournemouth forward shins. He's been in form, Solanke. Got 7 goals last season, already 5 this. They're waiting to bring Semenyo back on. Players have to go off for it's a minimum of 30 seconds after treatment. Referee says that he can now come back onto the pitch. Newcastle cleared it. Bournemouth forwards. Lascelles good header. Miley takes it, and that's well played. Back to Trippier, and his long ball forwards. Doesn't have anybody in Newcastle green anywhere near it, and Neto goes into the corner to bring it back into the box and then roll it to the feet of Zabani. BBC Radio Newcastle bring you every Newcastle and Sunderland match exclusively live. Fabian Cher with a header out. On this near side of the pitch, Max Aarons, £12 million from Norwich. Bournemouth summer signing. When Aarons was at Norwich with Jamal Lewis, you remember the match where they caused Newcastle big problems. Jamal Lewis on loan at Watford this season from St James's Park. Christie in midfield, Joe Willock on his shoulder, but he's done very well left-footed to ping it out to Kluivert.
Game settled down a bit.
The possession for Bournemouth in midfield and at the back as Zabani comes over halfway and decides he has to go back to Senesi, and then Gordon very nearly pinching a pass played by Tavernier. Newcastle win it back through Trippier after it went forwards again from the home side. Almiron with a flick looking for Joelinton. It is Almiron right, Gordon left, and Joelinton centre forward at the moment. now on his feet. He's been, I don't want to say agitated, but he's been involved from the touchline a lot. Jason Tyndall observing from a little further back. Lewis Hall slipped and then made a challenge after he lost the ball to stop Bournemouth breaking down the right wing. Gordon then stabs it out for a throw. 0-0.
Yeah, he was unlucky. Just lost his foot.
Senesi back to Neto. Lets the ball come and then kicks through it. Lascelles, comfortable header one. With a challenge coming in from Clive, Bournemouth then get it back in midfield, and Tavernier sets forwards on his way to goal. Into Solanke in the box. Cher knew what he was doing, knew what Solanke was doing, read the turn, won it back, and then Lewis Miley clears up to halfway. Lewis Cook, left side, finds Zabani. Max Aarons down the wing to Semenyo. Hall snapping away at him, and Semenyo with his
big strong boy, isn't he?
Yeah, with his long hair tied up, keeps possession, and that's a good ping from Senesi onto the chest of Aarons. Gordon makes the challenge, and it's a Bournemouth throw. Zabani, one centre-half to the other, Senesi. Another long pass down the left wing, trying to get Tavernier in behind Trippier. He's got it in the corner, the Bournemouth winger. Trippier makes the challenge. Tavernier trying to win a corner kick. He's got away from Trippier. Longstaff covering. Does well to play it to Kieran Trippier, and a pass up to Joelinton, who holds off Senesi. Good strength. He can certainly do that side of things. He makes a run forwards, ball doesn't come, it's still with Trippier, goes back to Lascelles next to the edge of the penalty area, and then the captain switches it to Hall, takes a touch. Semenyo makes a challenge. Hall keeping possession and finding Miley. He's got a man on his shoulder. Miley then back onto Hall, inside to Gordon. Good Newcastle move, but still in their own half, and that's a great switch from Gordon to Almiron, down the right wing to Joelinton. Tries to turn and come back inside, and did, but Almiron was ahead of the ball when it was played towards him, and then Miley slides in to push it forwards and break up the Bournemouth move. Nobody in a Newcastle shirt though could get on the end of Miley's touch, and goalkeeper Neto picks it up.
Yeah, just give it away in a bad area for them. I mean, we had it on the edge of the penalty area, gets to Joelinton in that centre forward area, and he just gives it away.
25 minutes played. Newcastle, both their trips to the south coast have been at 5:30 this season, Brighton and Bournemouth. And this is the latest example of them playing in that 5:30 Saturday slot, which has almost become their own this season, hasn't it? Arsenal was Aston Villa in the opening weekend as well. Pope comes to the side of the penalty area and catches the ball close to the line. Very close to the line, but the right side of the line, says referee and assistant on the near side, Darren Cann. We play on, 0-0. Of course, the Bournemouth fans are going to appeal for that, but I have to say it looked close. It looked very close. Well, he's got his left foot out of the box, but I think when he's caught the ball, his hands, both of them are inside. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. I think his foot's outside, but I think his hands are inside.
Newcastle have the ball. Lascelles up to Longstaff, takes it, side on, then back to Trippier. Almiron's chasing after this into the corner on the right and gets there around Kelly. The defender recovers, and then have they won a corner? Almiron, yes, played it against Kelly on the line as they were closing in towards the 6-yard box, and having won the race and then seen a good recovery by the defender, Almiron has managed to get something out of that and make sure that Newcastle get themselves a corner kick, and that's really well played.
Yeah, it was good race, that. Good foot race.
Joe Linton and Almiron having a good chat in the penalty box. Lewis Hall stays back, middle of Bournemouth's half. The corner kick taker is going to be Kieran Trippier. Everybody else in the box are on the edge of the area. Joe Willock makes a run and gets it short from Trippier. Then lifts in the ball to the back post. Lascelles! Oh, and pushed away by Neto. And they're saying that it's offside.
You were going to say the linesman's given the goal.
I was getting very excited there.
His watch would click, you know.
Well, that's what I was looking at. The assistant moved his arm but put his flag up, and then the referee signalled offside. It's not offside, is it?
Well, he must be. The linesman gave it.
Yeah. He's nowhere near offside. He's behind at least one defender. But it's Lascelles who's headed it against Kelly.
Against the defender, isn't it? It just ricocheted into goalkeeper's made the save.
So he was going to head it back across, it seemed. Yeah. Hit Kelly, and then Neto, good reaction to save it. The decision was offside, but didn't look offside. Bournemouth have taken the free kick. Newcastle have it. Almiron to Hall, along halfway. Willock with a spin. Zabani, good defending. And then Miley regains possession in midfield and then shifts it and plays it back to Lascelles. There's been a few examples of that, Ando, just using the ball and his body well.
The ball, yeah.
They look for Longstaff down the right, and Bournemouth intercept.
Almiron struggling.
Almiron is sitting down, and Willock slides in, but Clivert carries the ball to the edge of the area. Clivert forces a diving save from Nick Pope to put it behind for a corner. In the meantime, Newcastle have a problem with Miguel Almiron, who is stretching his right hamstring and is sitting down in the Bournemouth half.
Dear oh dear.
But the save from Pope, probably routine, even though he dived to push it away.
Yeah, it's at a good height for him, isn't it? Decent height. You'd expect him to make that save. Two strong hands on it.
Matt Ritchie is on his feet and could be getting ready to come on, because Miguel Almiron could have a hamstring issue. It's Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0, and the injury worries. It's a worry at this stage, not a confirmed problem. Continue for Eddie Howe and Newcastle with Almiron, and he's lying back with his hands behind his head. Ritchie's getting instructions from the coach Stephen Purchase, and now Jason Tyndall is chatting to Ritchie. It's right hamstring for Almiron. They're stretching the muscle. It'll be a Bournemouth corner on the left next to the Newcastle away section. Almiron's on his feet. They lost Joe Willock here to injury last season, do you remember? And then he came back at Wembley. But already without a whole host of players, big players, injury and suspension. Here's the change. Almiron won't play any further part in the match. And Matt Ritchie, 3.5 years at Bournemouth, scored a very late equaliser for Newcastle here 4 years ago in a 2-2 draw. Is coming on for a second Premier League appearance of the season, and after reaching 200 Newcastle matches last week as a sub against Arsenal, he's on from the bench again and in place of Miguel Almiron. Another casualty, another injury for Newcastle. 0-0, corner kick, AFC Bournemouth. Hoisted in towards the near post. Pope punches and then sent back in by Christie.
Great save again. Because I tell you why that's a great save, because it's come through so many bodies. He doesn't see it till late. Look at the amount of bodies that's in front of him. Punches it away. Good save.
And the save from Pope pushed the ball away from goal. It hit the corner pole and went out for a throw. Aarons stopped by Hall. That's very tidy defending. Joe Linton back to Willock. Ritchie is the option, the outlet on the right wing. Willock might have been caught after he played it. First touch from Ritchie. We play on, Newcastle in possession. Back to Trippier. Lascelles to Trippier, inside to Miley, chests it on the edge of the penalty area, then down on the floor, back to Lascelles, up to Ritchie, lets it run for Joelinton, holding off Senesi, comes inside. Joelinton has done very well there. Then Miley's ball slightly behind Hall on this Newcastle left, but it's kept in play, and Gordon steps in off the touchline, fouled by Aarons, shoved him to the floor. And
was it not a fair shoulder charge?
That was in the back though, didn't it? Cher, well,
it's poor ball, and he thought Willock's making a run inside.
Took it quite quickly, clipped it in behind, but Bournemouth just flick it back to the goalkeeper. And Almiron going off, how much harder has that made things for them?
Well, it hasn't helped, that's for sure.
33 minutes on BBC Radio Newcastle. John Anderson back with us at Bournemouth. Lascelles receiving it from Pope on the floor in the Newcastle box. Joelinton trying to help it on to Longstaff, who made a run beyond from midfield. Possession won back by the home team. They've won only one Premier League match away from home, Newcastle. That was Sheffield United. Obviously they had the cup win at Manchester United so impressively. They are the second highest goal scorers away from home this season, behind Spurs, so that's obviously skewed by the 8 that they got in South Yorkshire. Matt Ritchie commits a foul.
And won't be the last one.
Close to the touchline in the Newcastle half, but nearer to halfway than the box. It's a chilly night, 9 degrees, dry. Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall in conversation as their players prepare to defend a free kick, standing near to the edge of the D. Cook is going to play the ball, right-footed, far side. Miley with the header, and now it's Tavernier holding off 3 green Newcastle shirts. Back to Cook, lifted into the box again. Pope's come a long way and pushed it down and out for a throw on this near side. Couldn't claim it and hold it, but at least got rid of the danger. 0-0.
Yeah, he started to come, and once he made his mind up, he just kept coming. Decent punch in the end.
And that's a ball forwards into the Newcastle box. Pope with a huge clearance that sees the ball exit the stadium, hits the top of the roof of the stand on the far side. They're all single tiers, the 4 sides at Bournemouth. Corners are generally open, though there are some giant screens in 2 of them, and a box in 1 of them to our left, but not filled in properly. It's not a bowl, this Vitality Stadium, in that respect. Good midfield play by Bournemouth, and Antoine Semenyo back to Lewis Cook. And this is Christie for Bournemouth, tidily done, then given away to Matt Ritchie. Miley back to Ritchie, sharp play by Newcastle. Ritchie tripped by Christie in the middle of midfield, and so free kick given by Chris Kavanagh. Fabian Schär to take it behind the centre circle. Away fans trying to generate more noise to help their team, but their team can't keep hold of the ball. One back by Bournemouth, and Aarons drops his shoulder, goes on the outside of Gordon, chops back with the outside of his right boot to Christie, inside back to Senesi in the D, and into space on the left. Not a huge amount of intensity or pace. It's not ferocious at the moment, this game. Aarons goes long. Solanke engaging with Cher in the box. Could be handball. Semenyo then with a follow-up shot. Wide of goal. Well placed inside the area. Looked like it hit Cher's hand, but it came down nicely to Semenyo, who was off target with the effort.
Yeah, he's got to hit the target, hasn't he? Solanke does great. It's a great little touch.
Hear what they're chanting for VAR.
Can't have a penalty for that. Not a chance.
It's hit his left hand. It's down by his side. And then Semenyo, you wouldn't call it a tap-in, but it's a great chance.
Yeah.
Very close to goal. And he'll be disappointed. Antoine Semenyo, £10 million signing from Bristol City in January, that he didn't get his third of the season. They've had some good opportunities, Bournemouth, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had some good chances. It's all about taking opportunities when you're on top in games. And they haven't been able to do that, thankfully. With a bit of luck, they'll come to ruin.
Still goalless, BBC Radio Newcastle. 38 minutes. Lewis Miley, header on to Joelinton, backing in to the defender. Might have fouled Cook as the ball slipped away from him. Bournemouth looking down this right side for Semenyo again. His touch takes him into the corner. He's kept it in with Hall at his back. And Semenyo trying to help it on to Aarons. Miley clears it. Willock, good strong play. And now Hall. Joelinton backing into Zabani. Oh, and they could be away. Newcastle. Willock down the left wing for Gordon. The sliding challenge comes in, that misses the ball, and Anthony Gordon a chance to break into the area, pulls it across, and then it's cleared away by Tavernier. Great covering from the Bournemouth left winger to stick the ball out when Newcastle had players arriving at the back post. But that was an exciting break down the left.
Well, they just got stretched, Bournemouth. They got so many people forward. Centre-back gets out, doesn't make the tackle. Good defending in the end, good positional play.
Longstaff made a burst to the middle. Ritchie was just a couple of paces further back, positioned near to the far post. Neither could get there. It's a throw into the box to Willock. Holds it up, turns, nice turn to the left. Now Gordon, 2 to beat, wins a corner. Helped up to his feet by Max Aarons. Doubtless know each other from England under-21 duty and other England youth levels. Gordon, as the challenge came in, took a tumble, but not many appeals for a foul, and it will be a corner.
Not a chance.
Eddie Howe's black and white army is the cry from the travelling Geordies. On the corner kick to come in. Players make their move to the middle of the box. It's flicked away, comes out to Matt Ritchie on his chest, right-footed shot, blocked. Here's Anthony Gordon, couldn't get the effort away, and now possibility of a counter-attack. It's on. Tavernier down the left, 4 up there for Bournemouth. They've switched it towards Kluivert. Trippier is with him, 20 yards out on the near side. Defending a corner, Bournemouth now on the attack. Aarons left-footed, switches the play, and Kelly, the other full-back, chests it down and plays it back to halfway.
Yeah, Kluivert, not the most mobile, is he? And then he slowed it all down, gave us the opportunity to get plenty of green shorts back behind the ball.
Ryan Christie pushes the ball down the Bournemouth right wing. Max Aarons away from Kieran Trippier. Now delivers the cross. Solanke couldn't get there. Lascelles heads away. Danger's not clear. And Christie back in. Semenyo onto this. Couldn't get there with the first touch. And Pope collides with Hall at the far side of the box, but then catches eventually. Semenyo.
What a great little ball this is over the top. He's onside, but it takes his eye off it.
He's gone for it with his near right foot rather than let it come onto his left. Antoine Semenyo.
Got nothing on it at all. That's poor. That's a chance again.
Joelinton beaten in the air. Ball goes forwards from Bournemouth. Semenyo is now on the left side, and Tavernier's moved over to this near side. Newcastle have put it out for a throw. 3.5 minutes until we get the numbers board. 0-0.
Might be a little bit.
Almiron off injured. No Wilson today. Lewis Miley making his first Premier League start. There were 3 changes to the team. Almiron one of them, Gordon the other. Who came in? Solanke controls. Right side, away from the box. Cher makes a tackle, and it's a throw. Bournemouth playing with plenty of spirit. But having not taken their chances, Newcastle kept themselves well in the game. Not really threatened too much at the other end. Couple of runs, couple of breaks. Longstaff with one tipped over. Lascelles with a deflected header saved. Here's a cross from Kelly. Straight at Nick Pope, who runs to the edge of the area and drops it at the feet of Joe Willock. Now Lewis Hall, on to Gordon, back to Hall, towards Willock. It's flicked off a Bournemouth player and come back to Gordon. Joe Linton now to Miley. Moves it, uses it well, so too does Gordon. Oh, great ball by Gordon to Ritchie, in off the right wing, down the line for Trippier. Slides in, and it's a goal kick. The last touch came back of the defender.
It's a poor ball by Ritchie.
Trippier.
Didn't give him much chance, did he? He's always sliding.
Trippier and Kelly having a good laugh about it as they jog forwards. Ooh, it hit Trippier, hit Kelly, Trippier again, and then behind off Kelly. Should have been a corner.
You're saying the linesman got that wrong?
It's 2 he's got wrong.
Why
Lascelles being offside.
Why isn't VAR intervening?
Well, it's not there to re-referee the match, is it?
No, I see. Oh,
these
right,
things.
okay.
Goal kick from Neto. Miley misses it, and the Bournemouth player controlled it and slipped. Solanke, and he's down, hurt, and Newcastle might be encouraged to put the ball out, but they're not going to do that because the referee's blown the whistle. And Dominic Solanke could have a big problem here. This looks like it might be groin or thigh.
He's unlucky, isn't he? He takes it down and then he just loses his foot, and he could have done his groin actually. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's in quite a bit of pain. So close to half-time, the players are coming to see Eddie Howe. He's got his arm around Anthony Gordon. 0-0. Bit of time to be added on, a bit more time to be added on at the Vitality Stadium. We will have at half-time reaction to Sunderland's win in the Championship, 3-1 over Birmingham, and our second commentary of the day was a 6-0 win in the National League for Gateshead. Rob Elliott, former Newcastle player, is Gateshead's interim manager after Mike Williamson left for MK Dons, and that's his first victory in 4 attempts. Some reaction to that and the rest of
nice way
the days.
to get it.
Yeah, emphatic. And we will have all the other non-league scores and discussion in our regular non-league roundup at half-time, but 6 more minutes to be played as a minimum additional period, and Solanke has been helped up and is being led off the pitch. I think they have a substitute ready. He's holding his groin though, isn't he?
There'll be a blow if they lost him.
A blow for Bournemouth, undoubtedly. BBC Radio Newcastle. And they're going to send him back on. Newcastle had the ball, and the match has restarted. It's with them on the right. Trippier. Miley's available, but he misses out the young midfielder and instead plays it to Hall. Could have given it to Gordon, comes back into Cher. Having a look, Fabian Cher. He was a player Eddie Howe tried to sign when he was Bournemouth manager a few years ago. Good few years ago, because he's been at Newcastle since 2018, Fabian Cher. Miley. Lascelles in front of halfway. Ritchie, as they look to create the opening goal in first half, added on time. back to Lascelles. Every Bournemouth player bar Solanke, who's just back on, is behind the ball. Miley to Gordon. Challenge comes in from Zabani. Then Solanke tries to win it. Miley gets in the way, attempts to turn. It's there to be won on halfway, and Miley's won it back. Gordon on the turn and the spin to Willock. Hauled down the line. Back inside to Willock. Oh, it's opened up here for Joe Willock. Great ball to Matt Ritchie in the area. Then the cut back and the clearance from Bournemouth. It stayed in play. Trippier left-footed hooks it over his shoulder. Senesi volleys it away. It's a well-executed clearance, but Lascelles wins it after Solanke had a first touch that
got away from him.
Exactly that. Ritchie, left-footed but playing on the right for Newcastle today. Trippier up towards Willock. They want offside Bournemouth. It's instead headed clear and then nodded back by Kelly to Neto, who catches it before it goes out for a corner. Newcastle with 20 points from 11 matches. It's their best start since the 2011-12 season, better than last season, where they had 18 points from the first 11, so slightly better off than they were a year ago. Not much in it. Tavernier back to Kelly, left side of Bournemouth's half. Joelinton, the only player closing down and pressing. And it's brought up to halfway by Zabani and then lifted forward. Semenyo won't get there. Hall volleys away. Willock, what a touch from Willock inside, but unfortunately for Newcastle, Lewis Cook was there to stop Willock setting off on a run. It's eventually gone behind for a goal kick for Nick Pope to our right-hand side. And there are 2.5 minutes of the minimum 6 remaining.
Yeah, it's been frantic at times, hasn't it? Nick Pope's been the busier of the two keepers.
There's been a couple of really good saves in there,
yeah,
as well as some that he would expect to be able to deliver without too much difficulty. Neto, the save from the deflected header, and the tip over from Longstaff was a smart save, because that could have been going in.
Yeah, but you'd expect him to save it, wouldn't you? You know, it's more or less straight at him.
Share forwards towards Joelinton. It's taking a big touch infield.
But he got lucky, didn't he?
Nobody for Newcastle was nearby, and then Max Aarons followed the ball and found a colleague in black and red. Could they've worn black and white against black and red today?
Have to wear white shorts, wouldn't he?
Which is what they're doing, white shorts and socks with the green. They've always worn their away kit here, haven't they? Senesi, Bournemouth centre half. Joelinton closes him down again. Joelinton doing the pressing in the midfield. It's 5 players in a line. Willock, one of them, wins it back. Gordon, tackled by Aarons. Eddie Howe said Gordon had given everything physically against Arsenal, and that was why he was left out against Borussia Dortmund. Back on the left side, Joelinton centre forward with Almironov injured in this first half. Christie challenging for the ball, Share behind him, takes a touch, and then the clearance. And it almost lands on the roof of the stand. A bit like the Pope clearance from earlier, but they don't need to get a new ball, it just came down in time. It's now Aarons with a throw, and we go over to the far side and then switch it back to the right. Semenyo on his thigh. It's back to Aarons. Just seconds remaining in the first half, unless Chris Kavanagh wants to play on for longer. 0-0. Blocked there by Longstaff. Out on halfway. And we're going into a 7th minute. Lloyd Kelly with a Bournemouth throw, the tall defender at left back. Into Senesi. Both all left foot, those two, aren't they? Kelly and Senesi. back with Kelly. Approaches halfway. And whistle is blown for half-time. Goalless at the Vitality Stadium, John Anderson.
Yeah, it's probably about right. Bournemouth have had more of it, no doubt about that. Nick Pope's had a couple of saves to make, but at the other end, their keepers tip one over from Longstaff's decent strike. Header from Lascelles, which was flagged for offside, but half-time probably 0-0 is probably a fair reflection.
And Newcastle, a worry over Almiron going off injured. It's meant to change. Matt Ritchie has come on on a day when they don't have Callum Wilson, and I think we make that 12 senior players unavailable through injury or suspension.
And it's another soft tissue, isn't it? It's another muscle injury. It's right hamstring by the looks of it, but look, it is what it is, and as we said earlier, thankfully this international break's come along at the right time.
On a chilly night on the south coast, Newcastle level with their hosts after 45 minutes, but a squad and a team that has been further hit by injury problems here tonight. Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. On BBC Radio Newcastle, it's AFC Bournemouth 0, Newcastle United 0.
BBC Children in Need.
This year, we're asking you to challenge yourself, but it didn't seem fair putting it all on you lot. So Matt, from our breakfast show, will be attempting to travel the distance of the Great North Run on a puddalo.
A puddalo? I'm guessing that's a pudsy version of a pedalo.
Yep, you guessed it. You'll be taken to the high seas, or at least the Bolton Lake in South Shields, next Wednesday.
You do know the last time I was on a pedalo, I was in Spain, and I almost ended up in Africa, yeah?
Well, good luck, Matt. We're at least 30% sure you'll be absolutely fine. To support Matt's efforts, go to bbc.co.uk/pudsy.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio. Thank you very much to Matthew Raisbeck and to John Anderson. At half-time then, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle United 0. Back to the Vitality shortly for second half commentary. Let me just recap you on the other Premier League results today. The early kick-off, Wolves beating Tottenham 2-1, scoring 2 goals in added-on time at the end of that match. Arsenal beat Burnley 3-1 at the Emirates. Everton beating Crystal Palace 3-2 at Selhurst Park, and at Old Trafford, Man U beating Luton 1-0. Our first commentary game of the day came at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland beating Birmingham City 3-1. Let's hear now from the Sunderland head coach Tony Mowbray. He's been speaking to BBC Radio Newcastle's Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes.
Tony, not the ideal preparation for you today, losing Dennis in the warm-up.
No.
What was the issue with him?
Well, ultimately it's his hamstring. He trained yesterday, said he felt it after training, woke up this morning, said he felt fine, said good. So we just pushed on really, and then he went and did the warm-up, and he said he could feel it and he didn't want to risk it really. So he'll go for a scan tomorrow, and we'll see what it is. But it's frustrating, obviously. It's but great for Nectar. Nectar's come in and it's worked out so well for him. He's got himself a goal and he's helped the team win, get 3 points. So really pleased. Nectar's an amazing young man, who I don't know whether he came over and expected to get straight in Sunderland's team and play, but obviously 09 and Ballard have been doing very well. He's had to sit on the sidelines and play the 23s matches. We sent him to Southampton last week. All that way, 7 hours on the bus there, 7 hours back. It was, and yet he does it with a smile on his face, and he knows that he's a young footballer, hopefully with a big future at this club. But he knows where he is in the sort of pecking order. So, but for him to get chucked in 2 minutes before kick-off was amazing for him, and so happy for him because he's such a nice kid. Some people who are not in the team can moan and groan and sulk a little bit, but this kid is just wants to get better. He wants a bag of balls after every training session, and he's practicing with his left foot and his right foot and his heading, and he's here to be a big player, I think, for the future. But so happy for him.
That is the Sunderland head coach Tony Mowbray speaking to our Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes after Sunderland's 3-1 win over Birmingham City earlier today. The full interview is available on BBC Sounds as well. Elsewhere in the Championship today, Norwich beat Cardiff 3-2. Cardiff and Stoke played out a goalless draw. Hull beat Huddersfield 1-0. Ipswich winning today. They beat Swansea 3-2. Leeds 2-1 winners over Plymouth. Middlesbrough beating Leicester City 1-0 at the Riverside. Goalless between QPR and Bristol. Millwall away winners at Sheffield Wednesday, winning 4-0. Southampton beat West Brom 2-1 today, and Watford absolutely thumped Rotherham 5-0 today. But here on BBC Radio Newcastle, we're going to be talking non-league football now.
Local football.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
You're listening to the local football roundup here on BBC Radio Newcastle, the only place to hear reaction to today's non-league games in the North East. We'll hear all about them in just a moment, but first, with all of today's results, is Nathan Eli.
Thanks, Dom, and let's start in the National League. Gateshead 6, Dorking Wanderers 0. In National League North, Brackley Town 1, Blythe Spartans 1, Southport 1, South Shields 0. In the Northern Premier League Premier Division, Stafford Rangers 0, Morpeth Town 3. In Northern Premier League East Division, Ashington 4, Carlton Town 0, Consett 3, Grantham Town 2, Grimsby Borough 1, Dunstan 2, and Ossett United 4, Hebburn Town 4. In the Scottish Lowland League, Civil Service Strollers 1, Berwick Rangers 0. In the FA Vars second round, Emley 1, Heatonstown 0, Seam Red Star 1, Earlham 6, Newcastle University 3, Atherton 0, Wickham 1, Bury 0, Horden CW 1, South Liverpool 2, and Blythe Town 2, AFC Liverpool 1. In the EBAC Northern League Division 1, Borough Rangers 2, Shildon 3, Gisborough Town 0, Crooktown 1, Penrith 7, Sunderland RCA 1, Towlaw Town 1, West Allotment Celtic 3, Whitley Bay 2, North Allerton Town 1, West Auckland Town 3, North Shields 0, and Newcastle Benfield 1, Birtley Town 2. In EBAC Northern League Division 2, Bolden CA 0, Yarm 3, Chester Street Town 0, Billingham Synthonia 1, Eschwinnon 3, Washington 0, Thornaby 1, Bedlington Terriers 1, Sunderland West End 9, Brandon United 1, and Chester Street United 0, Redcar Town 1, with Jarrow and Easington Colliery postponed.
Nathan, thank you very much for that. We begin with our featured game today and our commentary game this afternoon. Gateshead's 6-0 drubbing of Dorking Wanderers. Our commentary team was Colin White and Paul Dixon, who join me in the studio now. And, well, you had quite the game. Paul.
Well, absolutely incredible performance by Gateshead. After losing 2 games, they come back to the International Stadium, 1,200 fans there, and what a performance they put on. We've seen some brilliant goals, hat-trick by Billy Chadwick, Greg Ollie scored, Stephen Warren and Regan Booty. It was a top-notch performance and a great 3 points for them.
It wasn't far off a perfect performance.
Correct.
It was so... It was nice to hear, because when we spoke to Rob Elliott on Friday, and he said, and was quite open about it, this has been Mike Williamson's team that I've just not changed. And then all of a sudden this week he thought, right, after the defeat at Yeovil, right, I'm going to impose my way on this now. He's not changing the fundamentals, but certain things I want done differently. I want us to be a bit more attacking, a bit more dynamic. My goodness me, they were absolutely brilliant going forward. Yeah. They were absolutely superb to a man, and I don't know who would have been man of the match if Billy Chadwick hadn't got a hat-trick, but at least he saved us that particular dilemma. But afterwards I then spoke to, and understandably very happy, Rob Elliott. That's what you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it wasn't the results fantastic, but it's the performance that really pleased me in terms of what we talked about yesterday, in terms of the identity that I want to see going forward. That, you know, that team felt like a team that I wanted on the pitch and played the way that I wanted. And it's not like me to say stuff like that, and I find it really difficult. But yeah, ultimately after that Yeovil game, my overriding feeling coming away was that team is Mike Williamson's team, an absolute top team from a top manager, but that's not me, and I'm not doing myself or the lads justice by sticking to that. So ultimately take our overall DNA, which I believe in completely and utterly, but add in that intensity, that running in behind, that disrupting the opposition, and also it's okay not to have the ball a little bit as long as we got our structure and shape right. And I'd probably say most of our goals and chances come from transitions, which has always been a key thing for us, our transitions. So no, I'm proud of every single person and player today, not for the performance ultimately, but just for their endeavour and their attitude and their buy-in to what we asked for them.
Because defensively you were nice and solid as well, and the clean sheet is maybe not more impressive, but certainly as pleasing as the 6 goals down the other end.
100%. I think I'm more pleased with that, because we talked about conceding early. We've done a lot of work with the lads individually and as a group in terms of how we stay solid, how we protect the goal. Ed Francis goes unnoticed, but his decisions when to drop into the back four to make up the numbers and when to pop out was just incredible. Regan Booty going back to left side of centre half. I could name everyone, to be honest with you. Kyron Lofthouse. When he plays like that, he is a top level League One Championship player. But Lofty's got to understand, and the lads have all got to understand that needs to be the level of performance every week. Results, I don't care about results. I'll be completely honest with you. Winning the game is fantastic, and I want to win every game, but I want to win our way. I don't want to just see us just win a game through scrapping and not doing the right things. So, overall, just really pleased with every department and every individual, really.
Yeah, but I will pick one out because Billy's got a hat-trick, and he took his chance. It's almost as simple as that, isn't it? This was an opportunity when Marcus wasn't available, and he's gone out and grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I don't like doing it because I don't think there's anyone that I couldn't pick out, but I did single Billy out in the dressing room, just the clear example of sometimes football doesn't go your way, and if you stick to the right things and you do the work, then when the chance comes you'll be ready, but you've also got to take it. So Billy's mentality over the last few months, I know he's been frustrated, but he's handled it really well. He needs to learn to keep developing, keep getting better, but yeah, that's the glimpse of Billy Chadwick that we've seen that can kick on and have a huge impact for us and also further along. But again, the big thing is not to get carried away. It's one fantastic performance, but we've got to build on that, because if we don't build on it from next week, then it doesn't mean anything.
That is the Gateshead interim boss Rob Elliott there, speaking after Gateshead's 6-0 win over Dorking today. Moving down a division then into National League North, Blythe Spartans picking up a good point on the road away at Brackley. South Shields, though, they lost away to Southport, and it's making for interesting reading in the table.
It is, yeah. So South Shields, who were level on points with Tamworth at the top of the table after they beat them last weekend, neither of them are top anymore. They are second and third because Scunthorpe have taken the lead, but there's only 2 points between that top three. And I was looking, you're right, it's a good point for Blythe, and it's a much better draw this afternoon than it was in midweek. And I had to look quite far down the table to find them. So Blythe Spartans are 15th, which on the face of it sounds disappointing, and then you realise that between Alfreton in 5th and Peterborough Sports in 19th, there are 5 points. So Blythe Spartans, yes, they're 15th, but they're 2 points off the playoffs. So it's all remarkably congested in there.
Morpeth with a good win away today. Paul, 3-0 on the road. Good for them to get back to winning ways.
Well, they had to. I mean, after getting beat 7-0 in midweek, I'm sure there was one or two harsh words spoke within the camp. But to go there and come back with 3 points, the bus will be a bit happier coming home.
A good day for us in the East Division as well. Ashington winning 4-0. Concert winning 3-2. Dunstan winning away 2-1 away to Grimsby. But the Hebburn match, Paul. Hebburn were winning 3-0 at one stage. It was 3-3, then 4-3 to Ossett, and in the last kick of the game, Hebburn draw 4-4.
Well, they'll be back on the bus thinking that's nearly a defeat, won't they? After
I was just about to ask, how do you even read that one?
Well, to get back to fours each, as the night goes on and the weekend goes on, they'll be grateful with a point. But I mean, were you telling me they were 3-0 up, Dom?
3-0 up, yep.
Yeah, should have took all 3 points.
Yeah, it was an own goal.
It was an own goal
touch of the game.
Well.
That got them a point as well. Yeah, well, and just to say, 511 was the attendance at Ashington, which is a terrific. They've been quite honest. They need all the money they can get. Ashington at the moment, and that is a terrific crowd.
Terrific turnout for them.
And then just very quickly, Paul, in the FA Vars today, mixed results. Heaton Stan, they lost. We had Newcastle University winning though, but standout was probably Wickham, their win over Bury. We had Horden who lost, but we had Blythe that won. But yeah, Wickham probably the standout.
Well, we got 3 through. I mean, Newcastle University, Wickham and Blythe, very good for them. Disappointing for Heaton Stan. It was a tough game down at Emley, but I'm sure they'll have done their best.
And then just, if we've got a quick time, it's in Northern League Division 1 today, Paul, is any results that stand out there for you?
Well, good to see Whitley Beer. They've never had a game for a fortnight, and they were disappointingly knocked out of the FA Vars. I think they'll be thrilled that they're getting back on winning ways. But Berkeley Town, good result for them against Newcastle Benfield.
And Sunderland West End scoring 9 today against Brandon United. But thank you, gentlemen. That's all we've got time for in this week's non-league roundup. Will we be back next week because the pair of you off to Gateshead Barnet?
Yeah, born at Gateshead.
Yes, so we look forward to that. Thank you for now. But it's time for us here on BBC Radio Newcastle to head back to the Vitality for second half commentary of Bournemouth versus Newcastle United in the Premier League. And we'll rejoin our commentary team of Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Racebeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
0-0 after 45 minutes and a Newcastle change at half-time. Lewis Hall, like he was in Dortmund, replaced at the break, and the player on is the player that I think most fans wanted to see from the start today. Tino Livramento, and Eddie Howe, John Anderson, has kept Kieran Trippier at right back and put Livramento at left back.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I thought he may well have switched them, but I think Livramento showed in Dortmund that he's capable of playing at left back. It's
playing anywhere.
Yeah, it's no problem to him.
So the second half has started. BBC Radio Newcastle, NUFC TV, and looking for a way through against Bournemouth, but Almiron lost to injury in that first half. We've got 2 balls on the pitch. Bournemouth take a throw, and the ball that we are using to play with is in the middle of their half with defender Marcos Senesi. Newcastle wearing green with white shorts and socks against red and black stripes, black shorts and socks. We'll go through the 2 11s very shortly when we get a moment, when we get a break in play. Gordon and Joelinton, and now Richie. Newcastle pressing with greater numbers than they did in the first half most of the time. Semenyo with a header on down the far side for Bournemouth. Schär away into midfield and away again by Bournemouth, and Schär into a header and caught late after he'd connected with it. Chris Kavanagh's whistle has gone. Newcastle, Pope, Trippier, Lascelles, Schär, Livramento, Longstaff, Miley and Willock, Ritchie and Joelinton and Gordon are the front 3. Joelinton is in the centre as the striker. Been a lot of changes positionally and 2 substitutions already. And Bournemouth, Neto in goal, Aarons, Zabani, Senesi, Kelly at the back, Christian Cook in the middle of the park, Semenyo, Kluivert, all given away, and Solanke goes around Pope from a back pass from Newcastle that was misdirected.
Kieran Trippier left it short, didn't he?
And Bournemouth have missed the chance to take the lead, but I must say the touch from Solanke was far too heavy. The second one that sent him way away from goal and wide and actually behind, so they got a bit fortunate with Pope out of his net trying to intercept, but it could have been a gift for Bournemouth. Going back to their...
got lucky, sorry.
Yeah, just going to go back to their team. Solanke up front, Tavernier, Kluivert and Semenyo are the 3 in a 4-2-3-1 situation, and they've had chances, they've had opportunities, and that's the latest one, John Anderson, that they couldn't take.
Said earlier in the first half, it's all about when you're on top in games, when chances come along, you've got to be prepared to take them, or you've got to have the capabilities to take them. And up to now, Bournemouth haven't had those capabilities. I mean, that's a chance. You know, all he's got to do is touch just needs to be better to get round the Pope. And a second touch, it's just really poor.
Lascelles with a ball down the right for Longstaff to chase. Kelly gets it back to the keeper, it's short. And Neto just returns it to Kelly. Longstaff closing down, couldn't get there. Ritchie with a block on Kelly's clearance, and it's a throw on the near side. Newcastle's bench, Dubravka, Gillespie, 2 goalkeepers, Dummett, Kraft, and then 3 academy players, Amadou Diallo, Alex Murphy, Ben Parkinson. Bournemouth have on the bench Mark Travers, the keeper, Milos Kerkez, Chris Mepham, David Brooks, Joe Rothwell, Dango Ouattara, Adam Smith, Luis Sinisterra, who's on loan from Leeds, the midfielder, and Hamed Traore. Solanke, that's Lascelles, no handball despite Bournemouth appeals. His arm was tucked in by his side. It might have hit the shoulder. Bournemouth have got a throw just past halfway on the near side, 0-0.
I don't think it was handball.
To be fair, the manager, Andoni Iraola, was very close and didn't move. It was fans who appealed. His team have got possession. 50th minute. Longstaff stepping out of midfield to press. There he is again on Senesi, 10 yards in front of the Bournemouth box. Ritchie closes down Kelly. Away it goes, out off Ritchie again, gets a thumbs up from Eddie Howe. Bournemouth in the relegation zone on goal difference below Luton. This is a big night for them. After this, they've got Sheffield United away to the internationals. Newcastle return with Chelsea at home. Senesi square across the front of the 18-yard line to Zabani. It's looking like a 4-5-1, isn't it, really, Newcastle? The way that they're sort of dropping in midfield. Livramento takes a touch from a diagonal ball, has to play it back to Pope and away from the keeper. Gordon coming back from the left wing to try and head it on. It's with Solanke on the far side. Gordon then makes a tackle. Newcastle push the ball clear through Miley, who had some good moments in the first half. Lewis Miley on the ball, looking tidy.
Yeah, he was neat and tidy.
Tavernier to Clivert, left side edge of the area. Through ball intercepted by Trippier, who then loses it to Tavernier. Now Aarons with a flat cross in from the right that Newcastle stick out for a throw.
It's had a couple of dodgy moments in the second half.
Joe Willock's pinched it from the Bournemouth throw. There's not much up ahead. And then he's run into traffic in the middle of midfield. Miley then with a pass back to Lascelles. Both teams giving it away. Tavernier on the outside into the box. It might come for Semenyo. Gets the shot off. And Livramento with a block. And Newcastle can attack. And Willock's ball gets Gordon away down the left side. Only Joelinton in the middle. Gordon, left corner of the area, cuts inside. Still going. Holds it up, Gordon. Support from Ritchie and then Trippier on the overlap. Matt Ritchie, a couple of yards outside the box, tried to thread it through for Joelinton, it's blocked. Ritchie gets it back and gives it to Trippier. Now Joelinton involved. Trippier through for Longstaff, takes it away into the corner. Defender at his back. Longstaff looked like he was tripped. Nothing given, cleared. Lascelles with a good header. Miley gets up and flicks on towards Trippier.
He does that all the time, Longstaff. As soon as he feels the slightest touch, he just falls over.
Fabian Schär playing it. Joelinton's dropped in deep. Newcastle with Schär now in the attack in the box. Far side, arm in the air. Ritchie back to young Miley. Square to Livramento. 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Keeping the pressure on. They haven't attacked a great deal in this match, but they've got Bournemouth boxed in. Left wing now with Gordon and Willock. Only Longstaff in the box. Ball is on the touchline on the far side, 35 yards out. Gordon to Joelinton. Livramento comes back and Miley lets it run and plays the pass to Lascelles along halfway. Square to Trippier. Ritchie gives him an angle and Matt Ritchie gets it. Longstaff down the line. Good ball by Ritchie to release Longstaff. It's held up by the midfielder and then inside it could come to Joelinton. It does, man on. Clivert with him. Joelinton plays it to Miley. Out wide to Ritchie. Back inside to Miley. 35 yards from the Bournemouth goal. Lascelles now playing it forwards to Trippier. Down the wing to Ritchie. Inside to Joelinton. Lets it come. Holds off his man. Tries to turn. Senesi makes the tackle and gets fouled by Joelinton. And the Newcastle attack, which lasted a good couple of minutes, has been ended by that Joelinton foul in the midfield area. Bournemouth free kick.
Definite free kick. He's just taken his legs away, hasn't he? All of a sudden a bit of a noise starting to appear again around the stadium. But it was better, a little bit of sustained pressure.
Semenyo chests it down, and despite Newcastle appeals, the ball is adjudged to have stayed in play. Livramento sliding tackle, taken on by Ryan Christie. Another tackle by Livramento. A cry of Tino from the visiting supporters. 10th minute of the second half. Bournemouth go back with a throw into their own half of the pitch. Senesi backwards with the pass to Kelly. Then up to halfway on the near side, Tavernier back inside to Kelly. Senesi with it, comfortable possession. It's gone for a long ball to get him behind Trippier, backpedaling with the header that sees the ball come down to Tavernier and roll back to Kelly in front of the halfway line. No goals yet. Bournemouth with good opportunities in the first half. Newcastle with only one really from Longstaff. Semenyo away from Willock, just outside the area, right of centre. Holds the ball up and then lays it off to Kelly. Wide left to Kluivert. He's a lot smaller than his dad is, isn't he?
Just he's not as good as his dad.
He's only
Thankfully.
5'7". Don't say things like that in a match that's finely balanced at 0-0. Patrick Kluivert, his dad, had one season at Newcastle, 2004-2005. Trippier has brought down the ball at the edge of the box from a Bournemouth forward pass, and then Miley to Longstaff. Ritchie back down the line for Trippier, and a lovely dink for Longstaff. But Christie recovers possession well, and then collides with Longstaff off the ball. The play continues. It's on the far side. Back on the near side with Bournemouth, who I think will be happy enough with their performance, aside from the fact they haven't scored. What do you make of how Newcastle started the second half, Ando?
Yeah, look, as always, keeping their shape, keeping their discipline. Bournemouth having plenty of the ball yet again, but not really hurting us, you know, not getting in behind us. Everything's been played in front of us again.
Kelly hangs a ball over up to the far side, brought down by Aarons, cleared by United. Gordon back to Willock and then makes the run, and a great ball by Willock to get Gordon in the clear. Left side, two defenders now back with him. Gordon still going into the corner. Cook has forced him well away from goal, but Gordon's kept possession and won a free kick wide on the left. Hard work by Anthony Gordon, and a yellow card for Lewis Cook for the challenge.
How is it a yellow card? There's been worse tackles in the game than that. Oh, but hasn't been any yellow cards, has there? He's got to get his quota of cards up.
You believe in the existence of the yellow cards quota, don't you?
I do, yeah.
But Gordon, I mean, again with a lack of...
It's just coming together. How is that a yellow card?
It might be because he's kicked the ball away afterwards. That could be it, but only the referee at this moment in time knows. But Gordon played away by Willock, and then they got two back on him quickly. Good ball by Willock into space on the left, and then he did probably as well as you could expect.
Well, he's nobody with him again, didn't he?
Well, they did create chances from set pieces in the Champions League the other day. Kieran Trippier's got a chance to make something happen here. It's about level with the edge of the box, far left side, close to the touchline. Watched closely by the away supporters. And a right-footed free kick sent in by Trippier, or saved low down by Neto, and they can't get the follow-up in. It's cleared.
Oh, how lucky did the keeper get? He's just whipped it in, and the keeper's just got himself so confused. He's expecting somebody to touch it. Nobody touches it. Oh, and then it hits his knee.
It missed everybody, and then Willock has charged down Solanke's clearance, but it's gone the other way rather than back towards goal. It's a throw, Newcastle near halfway. Big Joe Linton then holding it up and playing it back towards Trippier, but it's gone out. There's been some sloppy moments from both teams tonight. Ritchie tries to make a challenge on Tavernier. Bournemouth looking for a free kick. It's a goal kick only for Nick Pope.
Been scrappy, hasn't it?
Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall's song. Now coming from the Newcastle fans on the far
that's
side.
From the Bournemouth fans.
Sorry?
And that's from the Bournemouth fans.
Now they could be joining in. Be a bit unfair on the current manager. Ritchie facing his own goal. 2 on him. Back to Trippier under pressure. Did pretty well, Matt Ritchie. Lascelles now away. Longstaff and Joelinton make challenges in midfield, but Bournemouth through Senesi on to Christie and Semenyo with a turn at the edge of the area. Now Dominic Solanke, danger here! And Solanke squeezed it in. It's gone the near side of Nick Pope, and Bournemouth's leading scorer gets his 6th of the season. Newcastle were opened up. The turn from Semenyo, edge of the area. Solanke got away and finished. AFC Bournemouth 1, Newcastle United 0.
So it's a decent finish, isn't it? We just got outnumbered. We got caught. Balls played down the line. They steal it, don't they? Good little ball played in. It comes off Joe Willock. He's trying to pinch at Joe Willock, and he just plays it backwards. There you go. Solanke. Pope gets beaten at his near post. Should he get beaten at his near post, the keeper, do you think?
Looking at it again, Willock's tried to intercept, as you say, and it sent the ball the other way after the Semenyo turn. And then Solanke's run across Cher, and then Livramento took a touch and lashed it past Pope at the near side, and it's almost beyond the keeper before he moves. Well, 60 minutes on the clock, and already losing Almiron to injury. It's not been easy tonight, and it's harder now. Longstaff caught in possession in the centre circle straight from the kickoff. They're going to need something to come back from this, Newcastle. Trippier playing it to Longstaff, up to Gordon, who's now at centre forward. Joelinton on the left, but Gordon has been dispossessed by Christie. It's a good run and a dangerous cross that Livramento heads away. Longstaff with a nod down to Willock. Joelinton on the outside, middle of Newcastle's half. Controls it. Oh, and a great turn. Now starts to run forwards and is brought to the floor by Semenyo, free kick.
Yeah. Does better in those wider positions because he sees the whole picture, Joelinton. It's when he's got his back to play.
When he's playing centre forward, he's not in the game.
But he doesn't hold it up for somebody who puts himself about as much.
There's a ball from Cher over the top. Trippier gets after it. Nobody in the middle. Trippier onto it into the box. Turns, but into a defender. Then Ritchie with a block on the clearance, but it's gone through to Neto.
But somebody who's as big and strong as he is, as we see in other areas of the pitch, when he's at centre forward on his back to goal, he doesn't use that.
Big throw by Neto to Aarons. Solanke out wide, then turns back inside and away from Willock, then on the outside of Livramento, who's recovered superbly.
Oh, brilliant.
When you see him, you just can't help but be impressed by Livramento. Willock with a great ball, and it's Livramento at the other end now in the final third. Back to Gordon. Ritchie to the right. Gordon beats his man and then goes for goal, but it's straight at Neto. Oh, he set it up so well, Anthony Gordon. Could have played it into Longstaff or Ritchie. After a good ball forwards by Willock and a run from Livramento. The effort, though, after he knocked it through the legs of Zabani, was straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he needs to get more on it as well, wasn't it? Wasn't a great deal of power, but yet again, Livramento at one end, he's on his byline making a tackle, and then he's on the edge of the penalty area at the other end. Brilliant.
This is not meant as criticism of anybody who's played the full 64 minutes, but Livramento's come on at half-time and arguably being Newcastle's brightest player tonight. Lovely setup by Gordon through the legs of Ilya Zabani. And then he's got to try and sort of whip it in, bend it into the corner. I think a bit like he did at Sheffield United, but he hasn't got it away from goal to then bend back in.
Straight at the keeper, wasn't it? Comfortable save.
There's going to be another change. And just can't see at the moment who's going to come on. there's not much that they can do. Wonder if it... Well, I can't see because of the roof of the bench. Wonder if it's going to be one of the academy players. We're waiting for the camera to go on to them. Bournemouth have Max Aarons down in the meantime. Sean Longstaff, Jamal Lascelles and Kieran Trippier have come across to see Eddie Howe. It's not Emil Kraft because he's just stood up. Is it going to be Ben Parkinson? It is. Well, wearing number 63, Ben Parkinson is coming on for a Newcastle United debut, and it's for Lewis Miley. So one academy boy for the other. And Parkinson, we saw him a few times in pre-season. He was on the bench the other night. This is, well, it's great for him. And it's also been a significant day for Lewis Miley, Ando, who's had some good moments.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, boys hasn't done badly at all. Just so good on the ball. He finds space really well.
Parkinson is older than Miley. He's 18. He's been at the academy since he was 7. He's from Durham, and it at least gives them someone who's used to playing regularly in that central striker position. Though, as with a lot of forwards, they often drift out to the wide areas. But Parkinson is on, and he's standing close to Neto at the moment, stopping the Bournemouth goalkeeper from restarting the match. And then Neto goes to the other side of the box and clears. Trippier forwards. You know what? Why not throw a young lad on? See what he can do. Chasing down a pass from Senesi back to Neto, and really gets close to the keeper, whose clearance is rather hurried. And that's drawn a reaction from the away fans. That burst from Parkinson to close down. Newcastle throw, but they are 1-0 down here through Solanke's goal, and have got to get back into this. And the change also sees Joe Linton go back into midfield in the centre, along with Longstaff, who's now the deep midfielder, and Willock to the right.
Yeah, Joe Linton will be more comfortable in there as well.
Bournemouth double change is going to be made right now. They're not going to let the free kick be taken. They're replacing Max Aarons with Adam Smith, who you may remember from the Bournemouth team in their first spell in the Premier League. Someone Eddie Howe knows well. He's been at the club for 9 years, Adam Smith. He's on at right back for the injured Max Aarons. And Luis Sinisterra, on loan from Leeds, the Colombian international, scored at Manchester City last weekend in their 6-1 defeat. He's coming on for Justin Kluivert, who's not really had a big impact on the match.
No, he hasn't had a huge impact, hasn't really got involved in the game.
.68 minutes, Bournemouth have been in front since just before the hour mark on BBC Radio Newcastle. Trippier free kick headed on by Parkinson into the box, and Smith with a clearance. The young Newcastle forward involved in that piece of play. And that goal from Solanke, Bournemouth's 10th in the Premier League this season. They've all come from open play, none of them from set pieces. But it came after some good fortune when Willock tried to intercept, and the ball ran along the box for Solanke. Share away from the goal scorer, and then played back to Lascelles. Trippier's got to go to Nick Pope, edge of the area. Chooses to play it to the left-hand side to Share. Now into midfield, Lascelles. Bournemouth almost nipping it back. Longstaff very nearly tackled by Tavernier. Joelinton on to Gordon. Back to Longstaff near the centre spot. Move to Joelinton wide left. Then Livramento bending his run in, but Joelinton keeps it. Plays it inside to Gordon, who can't can't control. Share them with a challenge. Bournemouth want a free kick. Referee says no, and then the home team have won it back, and then they get a throw, and Newcastle have a player down, Sean Longstaff, and he looks in a bad way, screaming and rolling around and holding his right ankle.
Ball's just hit him on the ankle by the looks of it.
Eddie Howe exhales and then stares at the floor and kicks away a water bottle as the physio, Sean Beach, goes sprinting over to the far side of the pitch. Emil Kraft, Paul Dummett and Amadou Diallo warming up in the corner. I don't think Lewis Miley went off injured, but this situation is absolutely ridiculous. 11 missing, Almironov hurt in the first half. Longstaff is getting treatment, and now the doctor's just gone across. They've pulled out the stretcher, ready just in case, and he is sitting up, Longstaff, but they're having a good look at the ankle joint, aren't they, on the right foot. Referee is there, a few of his teammates are watching over. Newcastle are 1-0 down, John Anderson, and it is difficult to see a way back into the game for them. Gordon had the shot saved, but not much else in the sense of goal-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, look, just having a look at this again. Just played it off his ankle. Played the ball off his ankle.
Must have twisted his ankle.
God knows.
Well, he's on his feet, Longstaff, and they're pulling the stretcher back into position. And where they keep it along the touchline. I think he's going to come back on, thankfully. I mean, look, we don't know when a player goes down, especially when they let out a huge roar, which suggests they're in quite a bit of pain. But hopefully he'll be able to carry on. Bournemouth on the attack, Tavernier! Pope dives to his right and pushes it behind.
Yeah, it's good save, good hit. Little ball over the top. In behind Trippier, gets played down.
It was going in, it was well hit.
Yeah, it's gone for that near side. On this occasion, decent height for Pope. He's made the save yet again.
72 minutes live on BBC Radio Newcastle. They do not want this to go 2-0. Header at the near post, cleared, and then in. Looked like they'd cleared it away, but it's gone in off Solanke. It was flicked across goal, and then it rebounded off a Newcastle player, I'm sure, and then went in off Solanke. And that's a second for Bournemouth, and Newcastle have gone to the referee to complain. This might be looked at properly by VAR. Whipped in the corner kick, it hit Pope, it hit another player in the box, and then it's gone into the back of the net. If it stands, it's 2-0 to Bournemouth. They could be saying handball, maybe.
Has it against the post? Don't see anything in that. What's VAR got to look at that for?
They went to the referee.
No, Lascelles went to them.
No, a few others were with him. It's hit the post, and then it's hit Parkinson. VAR is checking for a possible handball off Solanke. When it hit the post, came down, Parkinson's involved, trying to clear it. I think it's gone off his knee and then onto Solanke's arm, and it might have gone in off the arm of Solanke. VAR
back-heeled it in. He's back-heeled it in.
But did it... Well, that's what VAR are trying to find out. That's what they're trying to ascertain.
Back-heels it.
It's not... Well...
Watch.
Did it then hit his other hand? VAR John Brooks taking a good long look at this, and it's up to him.
Back-heels it in.
Still saying, checking for handball. A goal is given, and it's Bournemouth 2, Newcastle United 0.
He's flicked it with his heel. how many times they needed to look at it. I've seen it once, you could see he's back-heeled it in.
Well, they never lost here in the Premier League, but that's in real danger, as is their unbeaten run, which stood at 7 matches in the league before tonight. Joe Linton now fouled just past the centre circle. 2-0 down to Bournemouth. They'd only won 1 league game all season, and this might just be 1 game too many for this stretched squad of Eddie Howe's. Free kick into the box from Trippier. Lascelles got up and it flicked off his head and went behind.
Yeah, it's too straight a ball as well. He's just got up and it's just flicked off the top of his head. Couldn't get any real purpose or penetration on it.
BBC Radio Newcastle. Less than 15 minutes remaining. On by Bournemouth. Sinistera. The midfielder playing it back towards Zabani. Parkinson trying to close down for Newcastle. Joe Linton's won it, found Matt Ritchie looking at his options up ahead. Ritchie over halfway, on to Joe Linton, went back to Ritchie, lost it. They get a bit fortunate. Longstaff, great ball. Trippier's gone to left back and Livramento's now right wing, right fullback, sorry. And
looks like his ankle's all right.
Inside to Longstaff into central midfield. Joe Linton with the ball. Livramento, edge of the area. Back to Longstaff. Bournemouth closing off the space pretty well. Joe Linton almost lost it. It's Lascelles. Cher, nice turn. And a run from Fabian Cher. Longstaff free to the right. Cher has got it through. Longstaff over the top. Longstaff left-footed over the top. It needed to go in. It's their best chance possibly in the entire match. Cher with a great run up from centre-back. Got the ball to Longstaff. It took an age to arrive just inside the box. Left-footed, too high.
Always leaning back, isn't he? Left foot, leaning back. Lifts it over the top. Chance. Chance.
To play. Bournemouth are going to make another change in a minute. Now if that had gone in, they definitely would have had a lift and then an opportunity to really put Bournemouth under pressure, but they're attacking again. Joe Linton to Willock, challenged by Cook, and then Smith facing his own goal in the corner. Zabani, and sliding challenge from Parkinson, at least stops the clearance. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, they can kill it a little bit. Just take his time over the goal kick. Good enthusiasm by the young man.
It's Neto with the Bournemouth goal kick. And he sends his defenders up to halfway. It's a high line. Trippier header on, Gordon to chase after it, gets there before Zabani, left wing, and Smith with a clearance, brought under control by Trippier, just ahead of halfway, drags the ball forwards, then back, and he's played the pass to Lascelles, forwards into midfield, but straight to Lewis Cook, and now Lloyd Kelly. Senesi back to the keeper, Parkinson. Plenty of energy again, chasing down the back pass, but forwards. Then into midfield to Ryan Christie. It's 2-0 to Bournemouth. Newcastle are losing and facing a 4th Premier League defeat of the season. Tavernier to Solanke, who could be in for the hat-trick here. He's held it up on the left wing and gone back to Tavernier. Didn't decided against breaking into the box and trying to have a go himself. This is Lewis Cook, left side of central midfield. Marcos Senesi on halfway. Clipped into the middle. Fabian Schär, easy win, but the touchdown from Schär to Christie. And Sinisterra just outside the box, left side. Luis Sinisterra's gone for goal! And it's narrowly wide of the near post. Goal kick.
Whoa, good hit. Not too sure Pope's getting that, you know. Opened up again, didn't it? It was always drifting wide, though, isn't it? Always going away from goal.
Dango Ouattara, the Burkina Faso international forward player. January signing. Helped Bournemouth stay up last season, is coming on in the place of Antoine Semenyo, who had his chances in the first half.
Yeah, he did.
Not so much in the second.
No.
Fabian Schär bringing the ball towards halfway, and then the diagonal pass, and unlike Schär, it's misdirected. And Tavernier onto Solanke, wide of the penalty area, far side. The cross to Sinisterra, takes the touch, deflected, and that took it away from goal. Lascelles, I think, with the important defending, corner kick, but very nearly 3-0.
Yeah, given away cheaply. He gets sloppy. Schär, poor ball, gets pulled back. Solanke pulls it back, good touch, good block.
Corners on the near side, right-footed, delivered in swinging. Ritchie header away, Christie back to the far right corner of the box. Left-footed delivery from Tavernier, Schär with a header, Ritchie then heads on. Parkinson gets up for the challenge, but Bournemouth away. Sinisterra has helped it out to the far side, and Trippier is just letting it run for a throw. 81.5 minutes played. Newcastle then get another throw a bit further up the left side, and they are 2-0 down.
There's more balls on the pitch.
It's not the first time, is it?
No.
Saying that the one that they were using is flat, I think.
No.
Oh no, they're not. That was strange.
It was because we had the ball, wasn't it? And the other ball came on.
But the referee came to test the pressure of the ball. We're playing on. Emil Kraft will be introduced soon. Newcastle's next change. This is Longstaff, right side, behind halfway, onto Willock in the centre. Ball with the outside of the right boot to Gordon, on the wing, down the line for Willock, who's taken it on and got away from his markers. Good ball in by Willock, header from Zabani, away from young forward Ben Parkinson. Lascelles now to Livramento. Schär and Trippier on the left side, stops it with his right foot, comes back to Longstaff, referee gets out of the way. It's with Schär 35 yards out. Ball is stopped and then forwards to Longstaff, onto Willock. He's got Gordon on the outside. Willock, great skill, gets away. 3 in the middle. Willock has won a corner. Lovely skill from Willock, doing his best to create something. Got away from a couple. Tried to cut it back, but Christie almost blocked. Well, stopped Willock actually playing the cross and slid it behind, took it off his toe.
Yeah.
Corner kick. It's almost a case of now or never. Trippier sends it in, Neto with a punch, and Christie there, away into the right corner for Bournemouth. Gordon behind him. Christie slipped and then turned well, and then gives it away to Trippier, onto Longstaff. Newcastle then lose it to Solanke. Sinisterra onto Kelly, and down the line for Ouattara to chase. Lascelles with him. Oh, he's taken out Ouattara. This will be a yellow card for Jamal Lascelles. A mistimed tackle. Surely he's going to get booked. It's a free kick near to the corner on the left for Bournemouth, and And the referee reaches into his pocket and pulls out the yellow card. Oh, he was late. That's a hefty challenge from Lascelles. 85th minute, Newcastle 2-0 down. Emil Kraft still waiting to be introduced. And the free kick is the responsibility of the midfielder Lewis Cook. On the left, about 20 yards from the goal, a few yards in from the touchline. Matt Ritchie stands on the side of the penalty area as a one-man wall, if you like. Anthony Gordon's on the 18-yard line, everybody else is in the defensive line. Out on the penalty spot. Right-footed ball off Ritchie from the free kick, and it's a corner.
The amount of players nowadays who cannot get it past the front man, it's crazy. I mean, it hits Ritchie halfway up his midriff.
No height on it, really. Here's the corner kick. That one's got height on it. Pope punches away. Gordon takes a touch and plays it to Willock. Bournemouth one handball. Ryan Christie's had a very good game in midfield. He's been everywhere. Now there's
another yellow card.
A yellow card for Marcus Senesi. I don't know if that was for something he said.
Saying it was handball.
Hit Gordon around the belly button. They're looking at it. VAR looking at a possible Bournemouth penalty for maybe a handball by Gordon. From one angle, it looks like it's just hit him in the stomach. Maybe from one behind the goal. No penalty. It looked different.
Dear oh dear.
To me, that was hopeful and optimistic.
Yeah. I've heard you say that a lot, Mike.
Still Emil Kraft waiting to be introduced. He's not going to get much time. He wouldn't have had long anyway. Lascelles, Sinisterra close by. It's played to Nick Pope, on to Fabian Schär. 2-0 down. They had that great chance with Longstaff, didn't they?
Yeah.
It would have made the last few minutes more interesting. Longstaff and Joe Wellington involved there, passing to each other on halfway. Free kick as Longstaff is tripped. More fireworks set off in the distance. Trippier takes the free kick. Lascelles to Livramento on the right wing. Ritchie down the line. Willock to Schär. Kraft's put a bib on. Ball hasn't gone out of play. Lascelles hangs it up. Parkinson trying to climb for the header. It's come down for Gordon. Back to goal, left side. Takes it away from Tavernier. Cuts in to the centre, Anthony Gordon. Joe Willock. Now wide right to Livramento. Back into Willock. Longstaff wants it. Flicks it away. And it's Christie who's intercepted and leads Bournemouth up the field. 5 in the attack for the home team. They've got defenders back, but now Solanke is in for the hat-trick. Side netting.
Got to go across the keeper.
Brought Emil Kraft on yet. Now the fourth official's putting something into the numbers board. We're in the 89th minute, 2-0 down. And Joe Willock deep in midfield, turning and bringing the ball back into the centre. He was unlucky for the first Bournemouth goal. Schär onto Joe Wellington, drops his shoulder, tackled by Christie. Schär onto Gordon, finding Ritchie, man on from Ouattara, given to Lascelles in the nick of time. And then Ritchie, Livramento making a run in off the right wing. Kelly with a bit of control and then a clearance. Ritchie challenges Dango Ouattara, the Bournemouth forward away down the left wing. It could be getting worse for Newcastle. Sinisterra, Pope spills it and then gathers with Solanke closing in. Still 2-0.
Could have been worse.
BBC Radio Newcastle. If you want to send a message about the match, we'll be here till 8. Put BBC at the start on text. It's 81333. Ritchie's lost the ball on halfway. Ouattara's got Solanke free to the left. Dango Ouattara has shifted it and hit it straight at Nick Pope.
He's had 2 or 3 great chances since coming on. I mean, that's a big chance to wrap it up.
10 seconds of normal time remaining. If Newcastle was somehow to do what they did famously at Everton nearly 4 years ago, then Bournemouth will be furious. This is Willock. It's a good run, but the pass at the edge of the area was straight to a defender.
Oh, 7 minutes.
A minimum of 7 minutes. Well, it at least gives them more of a chance. But it's going to take a heck of a lot to get back into it. Gordon down the left wing, into Joelinton, just inside the area. Stopped by a tackle, still got it, back out wide to Gordon, lifts in the cross, headed away, Ritchie brings it down, has a go! Oh, and Neto makes the save, and it's a fairly comfortable save in the end.
He got nothing on it, did he? He just tried to whip it, but didn't get enough pace or whip on it.
He's got it through a gap, Matt Ritchie, but like the Gordon effort earlier, it wasn't far enough into the corner, it wasn't bending away from goal, it was just coming straight into the middle where the keeper is. Well, Ben Parkinson for a couple of times has stood next to Neto when he's kicking out of his hands, and this time Neto slipped and the ball's gone straight out. And a throw for Newcastle in the 92nd minute, 2-0 down. Livramento to take it. Joelinton. Strong play, holding off Bournemouth players, and then a misguided pass into the middle. This is Sinisterra onto Christie. Solanke can't get there, and then in at the back post. Marcus Tavernier wide. They've had so many chances, Bournemouth, so many. Trippier under pressure from Tavernier, from the throw out from Pope, and a free kick given. BBC Radio Newcastle on WhatsApp 08000 321 333. BBC at the start and the text number 81333. Also, you need BBC at the front of your message or tweet at BBC Newcastle. Total Sport will be back on Monday and every night next week 6 till 8. And you can listen live or listen back to any show anytime, anywhere in the world on BBC Sounds. A lot to discuss from this game, which looks like it's going to end in defeat, because they are 2-0 down with just over 4 minutes of additional time to play. Trippier, who's in the middle of the two centre-halves. I think they've decided not to do the Emil Kraft substitution. That's a mistake at the back from Bournemouth. Parkinson flicking it back to Livramento, edge of the area. They couldn't link up after Livramento had helped it on initially. And Sinisterra is free to the left for Bournemouth, but Ouattara can't find him. Lascelles, the match is so stretched. Lascelles onto Willock. He's got 3 around him, Willock. He's a strong runner, he's taking it on, then he's holding his hamstrings. Both of them, Joe Willock. Back to Joelinton. Longstaff in the middle. Fabian Schär almost left wing. Back to Gordon. Through for Longstaff. There's something on here. Longstaff's ball, though, is cleared easily by the Bournemouth defence. 2-0 down. Fabian Schär was going to take it on. Hit it. Fabian Schär over the top. He knows that from that sort of position he can give them so much better, and he's disappointed with that effort. Schär. Kraft is going to come on. and Joe Willock is withdrawn.
Yeah, he's worked hard again tonight, Willock.
It's his first Premier League start of the season, Willock. His 6th appearance since coming back from injury. But Bournemouth deservedly heading to victory on the south coast. And they're going to make a late change by bringing on midfielder Joe Rothwell any minute. Offside against Ben Parkinson, who came back from an offside position.
Yeah, you've come back from an offside position, son. Why stand in front of the keeper like that? Just drop off.
But he's done it regularly. Must have had instructions to do that. Marcus Tavernier replaced in the 95th minute. Joe Rothwell, central midfielder, coming on. And 1 or 2 walking down the steps in the away section and leaving, beginning the long journey back to the northeast. And there is still applause for the team and singing from the majority of the away fans. Kraft's come on, and there he's won a header. He's gone to right back. Livramento's gone further up the pitch, away by Senesi there. Lascelles has hooked it clear. Share then to Trippier. Trippier's touch has given it to Sinistera. He's played it against Trippier, and then Lewis Cook on the floor in midfield to Ryan Christie. I know Dominic Solanke's got the man of the match, but I think Christie's been
he's played well, hasn't he? He's played well in midfield for them.
He signed a new contract yesterday, celebrated it with a great performance. A minute to go on BBC Radio Newcastle. It is virtually over because it's 2-0 to Bournemouth. And it's the first time they'll have lost here in the Premier League. And it'll be back-to-back away defeats. Probably by the same scoreline, unless it gets worse here from this attack, because Christie has got in behind Trippier on the right-hand side. Solanke in the middle, Ouattara, and now Sinistera. Oh, Nick Hope!
I tell you what,
incredible save.
They should have been out of sight. We should have been absolutely battered.
Oh, what a save! What a save! It's taken it. Has it taken a touch, or has it gone into the ground and back up?
No, it's taken a touch off Lascelles, and it's flew up, and he's just got a hand on it.
An outstretched arm, a hand, a glove on the ball to push it away. Oh, that's a great save. He made one at Crystal Palace last season that was brilliant, similar, but that was one that kept it at 2-0 for Bournemouth, and that's it. That's enough. They're not taking the corner because the final whistle has gone, and Newcastle United miss out on the chance to go 5th in the Premier League. An unbeaten sequence in the league ends at 7 games. It was the longest in the division at the point at which they started this match, but Dominic Solanke with 2 second half goals, a 3rd loss on the road this season, as Eddie Howe comes onto the pitch to shake hands with Bournemouth players and the officials, and those in Newcastle Green are led by Kieran Trippier over to the away section. It is their 4th Premier League defeat of the season. Last season they lost only 5 in total, and their 4th loss last season came in their 30th match of the campaign at Aston Villa in April. Here it has come in their 12th game away at Bournemouth in November. But John Anderson, with injuries and Almiron going off hurt, having to bring on an academy forward who was on for his debut at 18 years of age, start a 17-year-old. It underlines what we know. The squad is so thin and so stretched, and it really feels that after a huge effort at Manchester United with so many changes, what they did against Arsenal last week to win, and then going to Dortmund in the Champions League, then this is probably just a game too far.
Yeah, look, they look leggy, they look tired. And it's only to be expected with the amount of games that they played and the intensity that they played at. They've been well beaten tonight, you know, and the injuries and everything else has caught up with them a little bit. And thankfully we've got this international break to try and recuperate and try and recover. But look, it take nothing away from Bournemouth. They played with a good pace, good attitude. Probably should have won it by more. We were fortunate to only lose it by 2 in the end, because they missed some great chances. But you get it out of the way and you rebuild from here.
Newcastle, with the players and the staff, are applauding the away fans. The response is brilliant. So much appreciation for the team and the manager and the backroom staff and everything that they continue to give the club. Looking at them, you'd think that they hadn't lost 2-0. There's a lot of frustration on the faces of the players, that is clear. They don't like to lose, they're not used to losing, but it's been a hard game for them. And to be honest, you felt in the first half that it was a match that was going to be difficult. I mean, Bournemouth would be pleased with their performance against maybe a tired Newcastle as well, given that Eddie Howe said before the match that one of the problems is that he doesn't have the game-changing options he would like on the bench, the chance to freshen it up, the chance to bring on really top, proven, elite-level players rather than academy players and squad players. Bournemouth, with a lot of chances in the first half, they should have been ahead at the break, and then their goals came in the second half.
What you've got to remember is it's going to take time. You talk about getting elite players and an elite squad. This is only 2 years down the line. It's not going to happen. And I said right from the beginning of this season that this season would take its toll on these players because of the amount of games that they were going to have to play, because of the intensity that they play at. We were going to get injuries, and it was how we coped with those situations. They would define the season for you. We picked up an awful lot more injuries than I thought we would, but you've got to live with them. If you want to play in all these competitions, that's what's going to happen. And especially with the intensity that we play at. And it just got caught up tonight. We look leggy, we look tired. He's had to play. There were square pegs and round holes, and we got found out. We got found out tonight, and we were well beaten. And we can say, yeah, we were poor, but I think you've got to give Bournemouth credit as well. I thought they worked exceptionally hard. I thought they pressed us exceptionally hard. And they won the game and deserved to win the game.
There's a suggestion that there was an interaction between Kieran Trippier and a fan at the front of the stand on the far side, near to where the away section begins. I thought he went over Trippier and looked annoyed when the camera went on him. And then he was led away by Jamal Lascelles, and then the TV cameras were on Trippier for a good few seconds, and he looked irritated. A couple of people in the away section who were nearby have just sent us messages saying that one of the supporters they think was having a go at the team. Obviously, that is just what
I'll tell you what, people who do that,
if that is
need
the
to
case,
have a look at themselves.
Yeah.
They need to have a look at themselves, and they need to ask themselves how far this team has come in 2 years, and the job that's been done.
Yeah.
You're going to go through spells, and you're going to go through phases where you're going to lose football matches, and everybody just gets carried away on the emotion of it all because of everything that's happened. An awful lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Look, this season, I said earlier, was always going to be really tough. It was going to be a tough season for us. And if people aren't appreciative of what this side has done, and they're starting to slag off players, that's totally out of order.
We will ask Eddie Howe about it after the match. Obviously, there's more that we need to find out about that incident. I'm sure there'll be comments about it on social media. You can tweet to us at BBC Newcastle with what you think about the game, the performance, where Newcastle are in this season. Coming into this match, they had more points than they did at the equivalent point after 11 games last season, but they've been beaten here, a 4th Premier League defeat of the campaign. 2 goals in the second half from Bournemouth's Dominic Solanke have done the damage. They've got the international break now, and how this injury hit squad really needs it. Final score at the Vitality Stadium: AFC Bournemouth 2, Newcastle United 0.
Join us for another big night of BBC Children in Need.
An absolute banger of a show tonight.
The MasterChef kitchen opens its doors to puppets.
Would you like some basil?
Iconic TV characters race across Yorkshire.
You sure it's this way? We've been every other way, Ian. It's got to be this way.
There's an exclusive one-off Doctor Who sketch. Sensational Strictly Dancing. Graham Norton's Red Chair. And so much more. Children in Need, next Friday at 7 on BBC iPlayer.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio full time then. Bournemouth beating Newcastle United 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium. Matthew Raisbeck is off to get some post-match reaction from Eddie Howe. You'll be able to find that on X for me, Twitter of course. BBC Sport tying in way for that one at BBC Newcastle is there, and also on our Newcastle BBC Newcastle Facebook page. John Anderson, the former Newcastle United fullback, sticking around just for a little bit longer in Ando. They probably didn't deserve anything from that game today, did they?
No, not at all. They were well beaten, Dom. And sometimes you've got to take that on the chin. You've got to accept that we look tired, we look leggy. We've had tough games. You know, you're down to the bare minimum. You've got so many players out injured. We haven't got the squad, the depth and quality of the squad to be able to cope with those amount of injuries that we had. And as I say, we looked tired, we looked leggy tonight. We had square pegs and round holes that didn't work for us as well. And full credit to Bournemouth. You know, they played with an intensity. They closed us down. They squeezed. They pushed hard. Got in our faces, made life very, very difficult for us. And in the end, we were fortunate that there was only 2. You know, it could have been an awful lot more.
Yeah, and I guess you could tell Eddie Howe's frustration today with just when Almiron went off, and then when Sean Longstaff went down in the second half, you could see he was just getting frustrated at the bodies that he's losing now.
Yeah, I mean, the Almiron one, it looks like his hamstring. It looks like he's tweaked the hamstring. The Longstaff one was really strange. I mean, the boys play the ball, hits him on the ankle, and he just rolls over, and then next minute he's up, he's running around. So it looks like there wasn't a great deal in that one. But yeah, look, it was bad enough before the game with the injuries that we had. But to then lose Almiron, and look, that's not the reason that we lost the game. You know, even prior to that, we looked leggy. We were half a yard slow. He started with Gordon up the middle. That didn't work. Switched Joe Linton in there. That definitely didn't work. He's just not comfortable playing with his back to goal. The amount of times he gave it away, and look, that's not a criticism. It's just the fact of the way that it went. He can't play up there. He can't play with his back to goal. You know, and it was just the best team won. And sometimes you got to hold your hands up and say, look, we were beaten by a side who, to say we're hungrier is the wrong thing to say, but to say we're fresher. They were a fresher side. You could see that we had players out there who were leggy, who it was really hard work. They didn't have the intensity that we've seen for a lot of the season. And it's just caught up with us. And thankfully we've got this international break to get a little bit of a breather into 1 or 2, and hopefully get 1 or 2 of those injured boys back as well.
You and Razor mentioned at the end there, Trippier being confronted by a fan, maybe showing his displeasure at the performance. This message has come in which says, embarrassing. I thought Dortmund was bad. This was 10 times worse. Eddie made mistakes not rotating the squad in the early part of the season, relying on 11 to 12 players. This was appalling against a poor side. Fans frustrated, or at least some are.
Well, some need to take a step. This is only my opinion. Some need to take a step back and see how far this side has come, and see what they've done and what they've achieved. Yeah, look at Dom. I said right from the start of the season, I said this season is going to be really, really difficult for us because we've got 3 games a week. Last season we didn't. We had 1 game a week. We were able to prepare from Saturday to Saturday or from Sunday to Sunday, whatever it was. He could get on the training pitch with these players. He could work them. He could do that intensity. He won't have been able to get on the training pitch this season for a lot of it because we've been playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
A lot of it, I guess, is just being tactical.
And you're just recuperating. You haven't been able to get out and work players. Now they've picked up injuries, which was always going to happen.
Is that part of why players are getting injured, that they're not training and it's just match after match after match, and they're not having time to...
They've been playing games. They've been playing so many games, and what people have got to remember is it's okay saying, "Oh, rotate." But
cleared.